in the Bucky. My goal this round would be to win it. Don't get me wrong, that's great. But I'm looking just to take down eco picks and farm up my showstopper immediately. I am double blast packing right in startup round to A main and getting as many as I can.
Ooh. For me, like I said, I'm looking for that Vandal upgrade, especially when we'll see if the Reyna also buys a Vandal. That's 3 out of 5. Your odds are pretty good.
Hey!
Nope, it's 2 out of 5.
All right,
so,
this will go 1-1.
Yeah, the 3 ghosts is interesting to me from Fruity Fish, right? They're probably thinking, okay, we can light invest half and still buy rifles next round, but if we carry those 2 Vandals forward, then it's even better, right? And we'll see how it goes. They did end up towards the A site, all these players. The reshuffle while we were on cameras, and that's where the Bucky is as well.
I didn't get to quite see the full buy from Fruity Fish, but there is a Phantom invested too. But without much of a follow-up with just the ghosts, that makes me really nervous here for Fruity Fish. They're taking their time, but Autumn, okay. Rise is gone. Oh, never mind. The GC Ghost, just like the Deeg, is unbelievable.
And I mean, it's the ghosts doing more work than the rifles, Keg, right? Grimoire, Karosu each finding pivotal kills to unlock Showers control, to unlock Sight control, and then look, they carry the Bucky forward from the corpse of Madison into their own kills to dismiss away when the shots don't align on to carry, and they're just being a menace, keeping carry pinned in heaven or setting up Autumn for the trade.
Now, Zobi, are you afraid of ghosts?
No, but I do believe they can exist.
They can exist, but if they can exist, would you be afraid of seeing one?
It depends on what their intent is.
Oh, well, we don't know what Bunny's intent was because we never got to see that Phantom in the round.
I thought you were talking about the ghosts that we did get to see, which those look like they had a vengeful spirit inside of them, right?
That's
like
true.
bringing down Super Cat players left and right. But this is the opportunity for Super Cat to get on the board. Guardians, only in Princess Icy's hands is the rifles for the rest of the squad. If they lose this, which is what Fruity Fish is hoping for with that extra heavy second round buy, that's gonna be dicey. But speaking of dicey, Madison in Showers. I was wondering when they found they were gonna not passively hold this position, and Madison corner cleared, not cleared, is lethal.
Yeah, definitely a bit of an ego choice there from Fruity Fish to have this Astra Smokes down and still trying to flash through it. Big stall heavy comp from Super Cat's defense. Vice Util littering A site with the Viper in the back of B. Showers may be the way to go. It's really the exploration now of Fruity Fish to see where will Vice exist from here on out. Easy hunting from Bunny though as Madison ultimately meets their fate. It leaves only a few left on A site now. 1v1s galore. Carry up until this round had been the only player on Super Cat to get a kill in this match.
Oh, fortunately here, Princess Icy able to shut down Bunny. You know, they were bleeding heavily after those 2 kills, and now this is an interesting pivot. Did they think the Astra's alone? Regardless, I think it's because the Vice had fallen. They're like, okay, don't worry about the utility on this site anymore. We just got to deal with one player. You know they were Shower. That's why they're planting backside safe, and Sekia deals with it, the 2v2, as Spike finally goes down.
No smokes to worry about anymore. All the Viper util was back on B. Fruity Fish are hunting for those Sentinels. The easiest path to victory. Avery has to go for the re-clear, unable to find these initial attackers. Back over and lands, but the angling from Sekia brings things to a 1v1. Grimoire. Oh, Rise back from the grave again. Good for the double. Into the defuse, and Super Cat are finally on the board.
Yeah, the retirees duking it out, trying to escape the retirement home, and Rise comes out.
Home.
Yeah. And there we go. Super Cat comes out on top, and I'm really glad they did, because I mean, first off, that would have been it's already gonna hurt, right? That was your buy round, but I was nervous, right? You talked about Sisyphus in the pre-show. Well, Madison was like Icarus, flew a little bit too close to the sun after the opening 2 frags, and even Carrie followed them to the grave, and suddenly it was back to that 2v2. So this is nice though. Fruity Fish understanding, okay, if they're gonna fight Showers, we're gonna accept that fight. Karosu, the nod, yes, and here we go.
It's really win condition for Super Cat to identify where Bunny is playing. Has been so good about taking their time with these individual contact plays. Madison, on the other hand, not so much. Is out for blood 20 seconds into a round starting.
Whoa, if Bunny got the second there, that would have been crazy. But Madison gets the trade back to a 4-on-4 here. Autumn does have the dimensional drift. When you've already invested the Reyna Empress, this might be a good time to pop it when you don't have a weapon in hand. But maybe get a quick upgrade if you get some judge action with it, you know? I think that would be a great way to open up this A side, but they're just trying to fizzle out some of this pressure, get some of the players to rotate, and the Viper has bit.
Yeah, keep in mind, Fruity Fish have lost their info gathering. They don't have Tejo anymore. They have to reset an entry back in, like you mentioned, with the Yoruo. Get that backside control. The judge in hand in a cheeky corner is going to be everything to unlock A site.
Oh, and here it comes, right? You know, a clone, a flash, a judge, and a medal. Madison somehow through all of this is still alive. Now they have to deal with the queen herself, the Reina, picking up that space here. And they just show respect, fight the backside instead. Grimoire, you're low HP. That's not a good idea, but you sneak away with the tap it off. And Kurosu unleashed for 3 will not only get the kills, but the rounds.
Yeah, and again, calm's so important for both of these teams. Fruity Fish, that reset off the initial, what was it, a 4v4 or 5v4? Regardless, just waiting and having that proper timing to just put enough doubt into Super Cat's minds that you go and re-entry in with Autumn's ult. Even without finding a frag in return, Autumn created enough space for Kurosu to entry back in and remove the entirety of A site.
Yeah, when you have a half buy like that, right? I love that, you know, Evil Genius's Champions 2023 approach where you invest heavily on the ultimates to convert the round. That's exactly what they did. Now we'll see if Super Cat's team does the same, right? They have the Showstopper, they have the Vice ult, the Steel Garden, and unfortunately that decision's gonna be stolen away by the Armageddon, by the players swarming in here, disrespecting the Thorns, disrespecting the defensive hold on this A site. I mean, yes, the wall comes up, but it doesn't matter. They just take space elsewhere.
There's really not much Super Cat can do. Their economy's been broken out. Sure, getting one pick is great, but Fruity Fish have learned that no amount of players on A site is enough to stall out this overwhelming attack.
Here we go. Yes, 4-1. Starting to grow into a dominant lead here for this half. But I mean, I look at that composition, Keg, and I see attack sided. No, like that's the first thing. Second, you know,
in theory, yes, but Fruity Fish are gonna make sure that you never get on site. They're going to key started their defense and make sure you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, so an aggressive defense, but aside from that, Super Cat, the ults, the weapons starting to align. This is the point where they have to turn things around. If they invest all of that and lose out on the rifles, on the ults, then this is going to be Fruity Fish with a dominant lead in the first half.
I will say this, though. If Super Cat can get onto site, get the spike down, I think they're guaranteed to win rounds. They have so much post-plant utility.
Oh? So far, the first frag went inside Super Cat's favor. Madison this time, right? They get one, they get out. They learned their lesson the hard way, has since remedied. And now, I mean, they're charging into the Viper's Den.
At this point, you're just looking to bait out these ultimates from Super Cat. You want to alleviate that pressure while you have a 3-round lead. Kurosu up above. Vice ult, that's one. Just get out while you can. That's all 3 at once. You could not ask for a better round if you're Fruity Fish.
The hat trick, yeah, but they're... Yeah, the 2v3, you said it, Fruity Fish is having a good round. If they can flush all of these out and win, this was what I said, the worst case scenario. Look, I was gonna say, the Cosmic Divide forcing the issue. Grimoire doesn't know if they're defusing, and Carrie has gotten it to half. They're hinging that wall all the time, and unfortunately, it hasn't, but they are now back from the dead.
No, it's
not
defusing!
there yet! It's halved. It's
okay,
fine.
there is enough time. Oh, I got so worried. If Grimoire brought that to a 1v1 post not dead yet, that could have been a very scary story in terms of timing. Oh, I saw the vision from Grim.
Honestly, I think it was just the, I don't even know how that suddenly turned, right, from the 2v4 into Super Cat winning it out, because like we mentioned, Fruity Fish, like, they trained the ults, they were about to get the win, and honestly, it was the Cosmic Divide, right? I list those 3 ults, right? Showstopper, Cosmic Divide, and Steel Garden. Like, oh, I think the Cosmic Divide is gonna have the least impact there, and it was everything when you have so many players playing hookah, like Grimoire, like Kurosu.
Yeah, the sound deafening is so important when you have an audio cue like the diffuse to worry about. Once again, though, Fruity Fish, they don't have to worry about the majority of Super Cat's ultimates anymore. Early entry potential. Now the Viper's Pit has been unleashed long. That point of entry is going to be much more heavily contested. Avery, too, a very early Hunter's Fury, nearly works out well. But this is just pressure for Fruity Fish onto A site. There's no dedication just yet.
Other than the gate crash into U-Haul with a judge, and Carrie, you've not learned your lesson that they are there round after round. And you talked about commitment. I think Autumn's just causing chaos, right? They're trying to head B. They're trying to contest the Viper's pit. And at this point, Autumn's gotten 2. And this is when you're questioning, do you call the forces back to your site?
At this point, Supercat
No
has
way.
been so conditioned into playing reactivity. It's up to B. Both players are separated out. Fruity Fish Madison has been so good about hiding around these different corners, catches Bunny off guard. That's a strong start, but Hookah's still unknown.
Last player standing.
Wow. And just the spike there, fearless. Kurosu sticks the plant, trusting their team to get the trade, and then they finish it off 5-2. And I gotta talk about that early round. Fruity Fish has been conditioning, right, the A-side execs with that stealth drone round after round, right? And what you saw was Supercat fall off, right, to deny that information, to ensure that if they are in U-Haul, they aren't getting suppressed, and then they fought back in. But unfortunately, that's the kind of trap play they set up alongside this Yoru. And it's cool to see some of the Teho combinations now that are starting to get created with the new agent coming out.
And I like the response that Supercat attempted to employ, right? Like, there's that conditioning from Fruity Fish, like you mentioned. Avery brings out the Sova All, brings out everything. The Vipers fits alongside B Long. Everything should be held down, and maximum stall should be there for, against Fruity Fish. But it wasn't enough. And this is just another system. The economy's broken once more for Supercat. This is the round for Fruity Fish. They have that cerebrality to know this is the round to fast push B. And no, up close and personal, the GC dig in full force. This is not going well for Fruity Fish. They themselves may now be forced to only approach A for the rest of this half.
Yeah, you have to take the dive. Spike in the center of sight.
What a great
Rendezvous
read.
expended. I wouldn't even call it a read. It was just a mass rotation immediately, right? When there was no stealth drone invested, right? Over towards that A site. We talked about it. It kind of has a double-edged sword in that regard, right? You don't see that indicator. You're like, okay, maybe it's going to be a fast B hit. Let's get over there when we don't have optimal weapons. And the exec was beautiful, right? But it was that utility, right? The wall, the snake fight, the digs, all in the right place at the right time. And a Thrifty is definitely one way to close this gap that was starting to gape.
3-5 now, Supercat has been in the back seat compared to Fruity Fish. We've established every round very early on it will just be nothing but aggression. They have slowed down a while now. They are defaulting more. They're expecting Supercat to start playing much faster and higher up in the map control. And they've yet to do so. They're relying on utility first. Madison all set and ready to face up against Autumn, who will never approach lamps early on. It's all down to this fake utility once more.
Okay. And I liked the Vice's use of the thorns there as well, kind of fizzling out any early aggression that could have mounted over towards A, funneling them towards this B site, but look at these missiles, or I should say the special delivery. They've been stunned out. Kurosu gets the trade off that piece of utility. Now Avery's alone. Yes, you have the Vice rotate over, but they probably don't have too much utility behind them. So what do? You facilitate it with a pinch play from Madison through the teleporter.
And Avery, with that drone, has noticed at least one teleport. Everyone else on Fruity Fish backing away, but the spike has not yet. This is not indicative of a full rotation. Not just yet.
This fake
Autumn
is beautiful.
can absolutely fake it. 45 seconds left. Absolutely should be a fake, but you could still dedicate
no.
towards A. But Autumn falls, and this has to be a reroute towards B that is now
There it
empty.
is. And I like that they wasn't just Autumn that rotated, right? They had Grimoire as well, so you could pull off those clove smokes as well
30 seconds
to
left.
get that true sell of an A exec. Now they get the B site for free. They get to distribute how they want for the post plan, but they're not out of danger just yet. Bunny, low HP, Kurosu dead as well, and dusted, so someone has to step up. And Grimoire does. The trade, good. It's all down to Princess Icy in the 1v3. Does have 2 stars to work with if they wait a few more seconds, but a preemptive swing, and Bunny, the one that had the low HP, delivers the fatal blow.
Now, last time we had seen Bunny's Armageddon being brought out on A site, it was a massive eruption of fast pushing onto site. But there is a counter this time. The Vice
What is it? Ooh.
could shut down everything here. It should be enough to stop Bunny in their tracks.
Does the Armageddon... The Armageddon probably breaks the Vice Thorns, though, no?
I don't know.
it breaks all your killjoy utility. I've experienced that firsthand. That could be huge for setting up the exec here on this A site. I mean, you're getting to the point where you're about to have that advantage, but I mean, Thorn's already popped. It clears out the clone, essentially. Missiles invested. They're dumping full Taeho utility into this A site. Move or die. You have to respect this A exec unless you fight from triple, unless you fight from showers.
There's just enough room for Autumn again. Judge and play. It's the Lamps corner belonging to Autumn. Fully rented out in their name. Madison once again attempting to combat inside of showers. Luckily though, Vice comes out a little late. Players directly on site, but Carry will not live to see the end of it. It's a rotate potentially called. That's 2 players, but the spike
It's not even.
has already gone away. What is this gigantic rotate? The timing is odd. And Grimoire stuck on site. Doesn't have to worry. It's all Kurosu.
You know what? You called it odd. I call it big brain. You want to know why? They had their guns stripped away. They knew it would be impossible on the timing to get away unscathed into short. So what do? You teleport. You trust in your 2 players that are in showers who have that safety of triple of showers to tuck away and wait for their guns to come back. And they'll say, okay, we get back to site and we just clean up the job if they do falter. And they didn't, right? They dealt with the remaining Super Cat players. They captured the lead. And once again, they flushed out pivotal ultimate from Super Cat's side.
All you have to do is rely on Kurosu. 18 and 6. Double the kills of the second top bragging player on Fruity Fish.
And both your duelists are hitting. I mean, the impact from Autumn just making space. They've been doing their job. Kurosu at their side. Bunny now is the solo clear of shower. Like, I feel like Supercat was doing good when they cleared out shower space, and they've abandoned that idea. And look at the result. A falling almost seconds into the round.
Yeah, Supercat looking to just minimize the amount of deaths before that spike goes down for a full retake. But unfortunately, plan has backfired. Grimoire now 3. Rise? Oh no.
Nah.
Death comes for all. Grimoire once more a 4K.
Grimoire heard us saying that, Kurosu and Autumn were popping off and said, hey, I'm a fragging controller. I'm on Clove. I can do it too. And now, I mean, everyone else on the team starting to group up, and they said, okay, Kurosu, we understand you're fragging. That's what we want from our Reina, but we need some kills too. And now this round, when you're 1 off from Autumn, dimensional drift. So yeah, I would have Autumn fight for showers, and that's exactly what she seems to be doing here. A last thought at the beginning of the round to go and fight for that control, but I think we're gonna see finally what I said happen. Supercat fighting back for the showers control. You see the deep Astra Star. Here it goes. They want this space, and the recall, so the clone makes its way through.
Great change of pace. Last time Autumn had pushed aggressively through the Astra Stars inside of showers, it was met with Madison removing not only Autumn, but Kurosu too. Now it's back to B. No Viper's Pit available. This had been a big stall procedure against Fruity Fish before, but only now is it just a Viper wall, and I hate to say it, you got the Yoru, you have Bunny's existence on Taeho.
They're playing retake.
Viper wall's not gonna do a lot.
And I respect them playing retake here, right? I think it was beautiful comms then from Autumn saying, hey, there's 2 fighting me heavy shower. There was util. We have a delay ult. We can strip away maybe a player or 2 before and soften the battlefield by 2 players. But look, it's last round. Grimoire, you might as well not be dead just yet, even if you can't find a kill. They're going to fight in CT, and I mean, look at this. Supercat's respecting it. Even though it's a 5v4, they're going to make it a 5v3 because they know plan hadn't even gone down yet, right? The timer hadn't started ticking. And now that it has, now that they've lost that player, they're going to fight back in.
I was so worried about Elbow there. That could have been a moment to open things up against Fruity Fish. A 3v3 now. Kurosu evens the odds back. Still, though, heavily contested. Princess Icy attempting to use what little utility is left to retrieve any space on site, but Sakia says no. Gardens are still open. Princess Icy's the last one left.
They know the Yoru TP was a fake, but oh my gosh, you're kidding.
Autumn. Autumn, a 3K. A very decisive half for Fruity Fish.
I mean, 9-3 curse sprung.
Switching sides.
This is what you want though on your map pick, especially when we know Haven's up next, and that might be a horror story in the making after what we saw in their matchup against Seriously, from a stats perspective and a score perspective at least. But this is a great way to get that confidence flowing up against what should be the Radiant Academy Titans, right? Like we said, there are multi-Radiant Academy champions and, 3 out of the 5 players. Rise is also 1-1. Princess Icy has been consistently competing at this level as well. To see if we see an upset here from the side of Fruity Fish.
Now, riddle me this, Zobi. Is Avery the most winningest player of all of Radiant Academy?
They are at the moment, and I think they actually will be even technically after this Radiant Academy, even if they lose, because Carrie's on their team and they were the next closest with 4.
Oh, jeez. And we were wondering how the approach for Fruity Fish would be on this defense. Would it be up close and personal? It seems like the answer is yes, but Battison opens up the second half. Remore gone, smoke's no longer available for Fruity Fish. Everyone separated out with no tradability. Supercat are not taking advantage. They're taking their time off this Viper Wall to play slowly to clear out lamps. They know Autumn still exists, and they know who truly lives in this lamp. Oh, that's one, but no, Carrie takes the lease over.
Wow, yeah, Autumn and U-Haul, name a better combination right now. At least they take one down with them here, but it's still an advantage for Supercat right now. Bunny. Side by side with Crosu, though, this is what happens when you don't deal with showers control. When you don't have a late lurk, is they can contest, they can deny the plant with the guided salvo. It was clean, but it's all down to Sekia, who unfortunately the headhunters don't find their targets. And what's the first kind of prerequisite, I should say, of a 9-3? Winning your pistol.
Oh, well, if we're talking about school, the prerequisite would be an A1 level class, a B2 level class.
What is the prerequisite course title for the 9-3 curse?
J17, knowing our schools.
Clutching for mastermind.
Yeah, clutching 101.
Yeah, there you go.
Retake 402.
Comeback copium 102.
I'm sorry, coach. I didn't take ultimates 103.
Well, you don't have to worry about that content for a while. It's the second round. But what they do have to worry about is outlawing, because they just aced that one.
Sekia may have to retake. Wide swing 305. Oh, but Avery. How about angling 207? Really good start. And Fruity Fish. They are once again struggling early on. Supercat knew for a fact that a team with so much aggressive firepower for the agent load has to play very quickly into these rounds. But again, we talked about how important the eco management is going to be this entire half. Fruity Fish have yet to show a very full buy just yet.
And again, you pointed it out, you were mind-melding with me, Keg, right? Not only did they understand, right, what the dynamic of this composition is with those aggressive fronts. I mean, it's an eco, it's multiplied by 10 at that point. But that wall, like, that sheer was insane to, like, trap the players that were aggressing through short so that Avery could just pick them off. Like, that is just, like, hard read into a strategy, which is what I love to see is planning around these kind of tendencies. But this is the big question mark, right? They didn't force any rifles, so it is these Bulldogs and these Guardians. But when the Outlaw finds Kurosu, the star player in showers, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, doubling down on what you mentioned, star player. Kurosu was double everybody else on Fruity Fish. I mean, regardless of what the eco looks like for either team, that is the player you want to build your confidence up against for Supercat this round. Yet, even with that opening pick, there still hasn't been much movement. Supercat are willing to take their time and throw things out effectively. They don't want to squander this moment. They have to get 4 in a row to tie it up against Fruity Fish.
And I love Rise's Lurk as well, because it's going to keep Autumn tied to this site, so it's still only going to be like a 2-on-4. Make it a 1-on-4 now with Bunny taking up the mantle. Could be huge. Princess Icy doesn't clear it out, trying to sneak in here. They know Carrie's post up with the operator. The timing could miss a line, which is why they jump peek it. Oh no. Okay.
I'm really hoping into these next few rounds we see Autumn have a little bit more maneuverability on the map. It feels like they're so stationary, which for a Yoru on defense on this map isn't necessarily a bad thing. But you do have the kit where you can decide how fast you individually want to play on this map. And a lot of the time, you'll see in those VCT matches, Yoru dictates the entire pace of a match solely on their own benefit. Regardless of it just having a single rifle for Fruity Fish, I need to see that happen. Autumn, thank you. The prayers have been answered, at least with this fake. But it did nothing other than find out info that Supercat, at the very least, have absolutely postured themselves towards A site.
Yeah, and towards showers, which remedies the issues I saw on the pistol. So great to see that. But I want to answer your question about why we're not seeing that maneuverability out of Autumn minus a little TP trap play we just saw. It's because they were tasked again with that U-Haul control and keeping track of the Rise lurk. So if you see Rise like now, you know you have to keep a player position there, or they're gonna be a knife in your back eventually on a B retake. So this time they're still causing issues here. They're trying to make it seem like they're a lurk fake making noise, when in reality they're about to death ball onto the site.
Oh, Kurosu! They stopped the death ball in its tracks. That's at least one. Kurosu knows when to get out. This is good for Fruity Fish. Now the trades have begun. The Yoru was floating between the two sites, must now dedicate, but has to play for delay. It's just Autumn and Kurosu. Kurosu on this flank now discovered. Autumn may be the hidden one. Empress is active. Avery does have Hunter's Fury, and we've seen that they are very liberal about how it's used.
Oh, info.
Carry.
UCD.
Carry. Backs away. Both players now spotted for the defense on this retake. Each player 1v1. The Outlaw removes Kurosu out of ult. A single flash left and only a Sheriff to work with. Razorvines forced to make Autumn push up or take damage. Has to do something, but Avery taking down a stationary Yoru. A 3k to nearly even up the odds.
And I mean, from a macro perspective, Fruity Fish played that really, really nicely, right? You push up Sands off of that TP play, you position Kurosu, so you know that, you know, Rise sticking around for Supercat trying to make noise and make it seem like a fake is not the true agenda. It was going to be a final A hit, but the fact that they find the entry kill, they get the A side under their control, makes that it all was going to fall to Kurosu and their ability to find those kills, because Autumn was pinned down with only Deagle versus Kurosu had that Hero Rifle picked up from their kill over towards Sand. And speaking of aggression, they realize, okay, key may be Shower's control here. Divide this A site.
Remember, top player's been spotted. Will you disrespect the smoke? No. There's a big reason why now. You don't want to have your ankles all destroyed approaching into Kurosu's crosshair. That might not be ideal.
Okay. Good thing the drone sees Madison. I was cautious for a second. That's what's the good thing about not clearing your corners is sight lines that'll do it for you. This is nice though. Bunny's the bait for Kurosu, right? If that's your hero player, you're willing to throw your life away. They find the trade. That's the Viper wall for the lurk, the rob of information gone. But now you're getting sandwiched between the players on site as well. You gotta cut off one end, and they think the more impactful would be sight. But Avery has their own plan, and that's. I was gonna say, I thought that was Spike for a second, but my eyes deceived me, and it's still a 2v3 favoring Fruity Fish.
One enemy remaining.
Sekia
Spike down.
rotating
A.
over now. It just leaves things to Madison. It's been a tough approach to get back onto A site. Fruity Fish, now that they have rifles in their hands, may finally have the answer. Contesting non-stop inside of Showers. It was risky at first, but it worked out well, holding back and waiting for the initial plays to happen. Ooh, Autumn. Dimensional Drift. Shorty in play. Oh, geez. But it looks like we will have to wait just a few seconds before we get to see what Autumn has cooked up. We are in a small tech pause. But so far, very malleable second half coming out from both teams. I've been very impressed with the response that we're seeing from Supercat with what I thought would just be raw W key aiming coming out of Kurosu and friends. But they've been putting up quite a fight.
And I think that was just a slow start, because we know the players on that team are mechanically gifted. Like, they're Oomphies, right? They're the Supernova squad that, like, we've highly praised for their performance in the end of 2 seasons ago into the start of the season. Never could quite make it deeper into the main events. And, like, that's their definition, right? They come to frag, they come to fight, and they're finally starting to get that ball rolling here again, because they really weren't challenged, I would say, arguably, in the round robin, right? It was a 13-5 and a 13-7, right? So this team is finally pushing them on that pick, and I think that's a good thing. And I think my only concern though now is you've been playing Valorant for a while, right? So when we get over to Haven, which already is a soft spot for Fruity Fishy, they need to win this map.
Yeah, I mean, I think the calls are going to be really important for both these teams. Given that these are pug squads, there's not a ton of structure compared to a full dedicated IGL squad that's been playing together for months, right? Haven's going to be a struggle for one of these teams if the comms start to break down. Luckily, Bind is a small enough map where the macro is pretty much just rotate and then keep rotating and hoping for the best at some point. But a lot of it has been gunfight centric, and I think both teams have been evenly matched. And If this is the case, and comms are the big concern for map 2, this can easily go to Pearl.
No, for sure. And I kind of want it to, because Pearl, like I said, is that map that nobody likes, but now with the new meta, like they've been spicing it up and making it interesting with that Vice pick in particular. It's almost, I don't want to say necessarily a solve, but it feels like a nice solve for the B site. Like if you like don't get a post plant and you keep the players off using that utility, then you're fine and don't have to worry about retaking against a B site. And aside from that, whew, is it gonna go to a map 3? I think if Fruity Fish win this map, I think it could go to it. If somehow the 9-3 curse comes into fruition and Supercat steal it back, this could be a 2-0.
I'm thinking. Because I honestly, regardless of which team wins map 1, I could see this going to map 3. But I'm inclined to agree that if Fruity Fish do win this first map, I think we're more likely to go to a 2-0.
Okay. Yeah, it just like that Haven's such a question mark after they got stomped by Seriously. It's a great name.
Seriously?
Yeah, super seriously.
I'm like biting the tip of my tongue. Did you know if you ever have a dry mouth, if you just lightly bite the tip of your tongue, it always, wets it?
I did not know that. That's an interesting bodily response. But speaking of responses, just going back to the game. And again, just the adjustment that we've seen out of Supercat. We've said it time and time again, right? That composition, you were expecting them to do well on the defense because of that aggressive tendency of this composition, right? If you want to hold the space, you got to fight for it, play contact up. And I feel like just because Supercat understands that at a fundamental level, they've been able to counter it just every attempt.
I mean, I think when we do see the initial, response of utility coming out from Supercat, they look really strong. We see a lot of respect coming out from Fruity Fish's side. But when the push actually does happen, it's just Korosu annihilating anybody that goes up against them. So I would like to see, okay, yes, just like this, outside of Hookah, just allow Korosu to not even flash. Flashes are optional, I guess. Oh, well, I think there was a flash off screen, but just swing. But even then, it was read into by Supercat. You cannot W key that far. I underestimated Supercat in the first 20 or so seconds. And now, 2 critical players on Fruity Fish's arsenal are gone, Zobi.
And I mean, that's exactly what I said, right? Was like they're setting up those aggressive plays to hold space, to deny space, and they even get their read on that gamble correct. But Supercat just adjusts against it, right? Get out of the missiles, get out of the guided salvos, rotate, take space, bait a chamber in their rendezvous. And even with a flanking Grimoire, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. Bunny trying to cause more chaos to their utility to kind of place a guise that Grimoire isn't there, but they read through the facade. They find the kills and keep it flawless after the beautiful trap play setup we saw from Fruity Fish.
Fruity Fish. This is a tough one to call. The Reina, the Yoru, everything is spelling towards you want to take a fight, bring things 5v4 as soon as humanly possible. With just a Guardian stacking up B-site, I will say, this is how Supercat did get a few of their early defense rounds. They brought things pretty close when Fruity Fish themselves pushed B, full rifles in hand, and lost to the GCD.
Yeah. Again, it's when we get to these final double-digit rounds, the 9-3 curse can slip away, right? Once the ults come back for Fruity Fish, which should be, I want to say, the following round, especially if they get a few here, but that was your big weapon you invested, the Bulldog, gone, since you were trusting Grimoire to solo hold the A site, right? The gamble stack fails, the rotation coming back from Supercat, going back to this defaulted A split, this time you're trusting the Vice to clear out showers, and I mean, no one's gonna be home anyways.
Now here's the big question, right? This is where we put on our thinking caps into map 2. If Supercat have the calls and reads to take out Fruity Fish this early on, Fruity Fish's entire reliance here is just taking fights, and they can't do that. That would mean Supercat's calling should be better on Haven, which means they should be able to win that map too. Supercat can win Bind. They should have the advantage going into Haven. Bunny now has a Vandal.
No way.
Sekia, the Headhunters. But it wasn't enough. And now Supercat, if they continue at this pace, map number 1 should be theirs.
But this is the big round, Keg. Supercat, because of how flawless those comeback rounds were, right? one player, no players falling. They didn't have to invest any of these ultimates in a staggered fashion. So when we finally come down to that buy-in round for Fruity Fish in terms of ults, in terms of weaponry, that is make or break. I mean, it's gonna be a head-to-head clash. Like,
Double
observers,
up?
buckle in. Nah, that's gotta be a me. Oh, I mean, quarter fours, not wrong.
Okay. The autumn up. Oh,
No
sure.
way.
Oh, okay. All right.
They tried to track the
there
gate
goes
crash
showers.
too.
All right. Interesting start, Fruity Fish. I like Madison's response, hiding inside the smoke.
Oh,
Hey, oh, in return, that is
Oh.
a true Armageddon. Madison's entry's gone now. Kurosu
They've been there the whole
caravanning
time.
across the planet Earth itself to try to flank out. What is happening?
and that's what I love from Crosley, right? This is not the first time where they know that they aren't rotating to B, where they know they're confined to this A exec, and now they know who the last two players are. One slips into Cubby.
One enemy
I
remaining.
mean, this round, like I said, was everything, so why not bring Grimoire back from the grave? Another three-piece for them. 11-9 here, and again, this is when that 9-3 curse falls apart.
Super Cat. No timeout taken. Usually when a player stands still like that, I always kind of brace myself.
Into
a little
typing it
bit.
in.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's gonna happen. That's the caster's secret. There are a lot of ults available for both sides. I'm
Now
looking
we
at
wait.
Autumn's ult now. It's gonna be that dimensional drift.
Right then.
With
Let's go
an
kill them.
up would be risky, but you're bringing a Reyna, a Yoru, and a Chamber already. Risk is out the window.
Yeah. Here we go. Autumn. Again, they keep that up in hand, and now Kurosu is an even bigger threat, gets spawned away from Gate Crash out, right? Empress gets popped. They're going to try and dive in and fight off of this drone, hoping a single player was following it up, and they were. But that single player is Badass, and they've punched through. And now with that Gate Crash out as well, they've given up all the B space, having to fight back in, expend that additional utility like the guided salvos. And here we go, Steel Garden popped. Oh, that's bad timing for both.
Oh, jeez. A collapse once more. Super Cat only
planted.
using a single ult, I believe. No, two ults, I believe, to get onto site. At this point, Autumn is in so deep, could potentially unlock
the
the
up?
way in. Ah, with one.
Imagine it was a clat.
You know what? The vision was there. I saw it. Oh no. The deep
Flick?
corner. Autumn. One more. One for the road. Oh, the
Shorty?
Shorty. Autumn.
Aw, just barely too far.
No! Autumn. That's an Icarus moment.
Revenge for the BM in U-Haul, but Seki at this point saving the weapon. Wish they saved the off too, but Princess Icy says, maybe I'll take this shiny new toy for the cap off to tie us up. Might drop it on the departure. We'll have to wait and see into the next round. I can't imagine the attack off in the way that this squad's been playing the map, but we'll see. I
Yeah.
can see a posted up shower.
Yeah, a shower
Wait.
would be a great option, given if there's no smokes. Be long to challenge Sekia
Oh my god,
early on.
Sekia! They threw the rifle out before the round was over.
Unlucky.
They were trying to throw it to a teammate in the next buy phase. They lost the
Truly.
weapon, and they get the penalty for saving.
Oh, well. Unlucky.
You saw the Kurosu stare of judgment. I
Oh.
think she was the one that was gonna get it.
Well, no op anymore, I guess.
No, it was just a rifle. Oh my gosh. And now the ult here, like, Fruity Fish now don't have a completed buy. Like, this is probably gonna be to tie again, 11-11.
Kurosu's gone now. I can imagine the vibes may have lowered a little bit now for Fruity Fish. At this point, it's just a standstill. We did mention the ops before. That is also no longer in play.
Oh, that guy that Salvo was supposed to fizzle out the pressure of the showstopper, but they just satchel past and not a care in the world. Now Grimoire, toying with the idea of swinging out when fully decayed nearly. Now they can't even move because the Thorns are about to lock them in place. I cannot imagine a better combo than Decay and the Thorns. Like, that would be lethal here. I mean, a 2v5 players in all their positions. And you got the elevation, too, from Badison. There's no way you fight your way in here.
Teleport's ready.
Possibly one. No, not even. No redemption. 11-11. Fruity Fish now. They have struggled in where I thought they would excel in the early parts of a round. They need to play for retakes. They have to do the exact opposite of what I thought they would do and just maybe go retake city.
Here we go. Another rifle round. Probably the last here. This is an all-in for Fruity Fish. They say, okay, we win this round, we guarantee OT or maybe the game. If they lose it though, they're not gonna have a buy. Supercat's money has been flowing basically the whole half.
Ult economy's not looking great either for Fruity Fish.
Yeah. Like, it's gonna be, you know, the pop-off stars are gonna pop off or their map is gonna slip away.
Grimoire's holding a very deep angle, waiting for the slow lurk peek. Will it ever come, though, is the big question. Sekia angling, looking for any presence at all of Supercat's
know.
attack. There it is, Rise. Faster reaction time.
Autumn wants to sneak in for the trade, but it's gonna be another 1v1 that was starting to go south, so they just concede the space. And now, I mean, look at the group up. Supercat's gonna try and deathball into this player.
Kurosu is going for the very late flank. 48 seconds left. Shower control not in Fruity
Oh,
Fish's
no.
favor. It's the Vice. Arrows out. Bunny not discovered, but still challenged.
Oh my gosh, now your U-Haul player's locked down. You know the Kurosi's on the flank.
Spike planted.
Force pit is up. Unless they miraculously find Rise here. Autumn does! It's a dimensional drift, exactly what the Doctor ordered, but it is your team gonna be alive to punish off of it. Sekia doesn't seem to be able to. They're trying to find their target here, and the dimensional drift spray just cannot connect.
Sekia not being able to find that Viper. A massive blow to this post plant. Does manage to remove carry. That's a good start. But this
Autumn's
Yoru
across
is
the map. They're saving.
different continent.
You know,
I don't think
hate
Sekia can
it.
escape.
They might go for the teleport here, but
Okay.
I mean, that's an additional kill.
Yeah,
I mean, the
now
money.
they can.
Oh, can they? Okay. I thought the pit was gonna fall and they were gonna see them, but the teleport from Avery. Oh, robbed away. And I think this was the best case scenario you could ask for in my mind
Match
if
point.
you didn't win the round, right? Was Supercat uses both of their ultimates, you save a few rifles so you at least can force a buy, when otherwise, like I have previously mentioned, the economy was not gonna support
Should I
one.
play some stars in this reality?
What is the plan now for Fruity Fish? It's just these opening picks against them have just drained this team. Grimoire fell immediately from the hands of Rise last round, and from there it just opened up all of A-Site for Supercat to push. Seki and Kurosu once more, looking for these early pick opportunities. Very devout angles outside B main. Default in play now from Supercat. Ult's not a question. Carry the Vice up. There goes your flashes.
I mean, at this point, right? I love that Kara used Autumn's own opping against them, essentially. Fights, showers, wins at the duel, and they don't even hit the A site to follow it up, right? They go to the opposite side of the map, the prodding off the drone, pulls the additional players over, and I mean, Spike's still down, essentially, in spawn, so they haven't committed either way, right?
Minute.
They are about to trip the chamber trademark, but again, no commitment, and they're just gonna hope that Rise can find a kill here onto A, and that's when they'll commit.
And Grimoire's position now in showers, trying to make up for the lost space of Autumn. Little crab out from Bunny does spot at least one. That's gonna promote the rotate back over. Kurosu left on an island on B site, and for good reason. That's Carrie still rotating back over.
They're gonna
See,
TP,
maybe
aren't
if
they?
can catch out or rotate. Madison,
They need to spell shower.
Carrie.
Oh, and they find it! Again, they've been addressing shower control inadvertently. Speaking of inadvertently, caught. Sekia falls the 2v4 with not even his optimal weapons. Okay, Kurosu keeps Bunny alive, but low HP, has to wait for the regen shield to survive a singular body shot. And a 2v3 becomes feasible, but Rise with the shorty has been menacing. They got Avery to back him up for the trade as well, or the bait, so they don't clear the corner! Kurosu's on for the ace clutch to get this round through. But they have stars. It's an Astra. No way.
No one's checking showers. Showers.
They're stunned.
Enemy remaining.
Is it half?
No.
Oh no! Kurosu!
That's the game.
Herculean attempt for a clutch.
Attackers win.
Princess Icy saves the day.
Challenge.
Unbelievable.
Wow. And I mean, I was hyping up in the green room. I'm like, wow, it's kind of criminal that these two teams go up against each other this soon in the Radiant Academy bracket, because in my mind, they would be like the front runners after what I've seen in different leagues from these squads. And this map has definitely proved it, right? The 13-11. And again, it really did come down to, in my mind, just how well they were able to counter the nature of that aggressive composition for Fruity Fish on that second half.
It just felt like if Fruity Fish couldn't get the opening pick, there was no plan B. They kept changing different pieces around, different parts, and very malleable. But unfortunately, the malleability wasn't enough. There was no follow-up to each of their plans.
And that's what's good from this squad, is they are so well-rounded on the side of Super Cat. That's why there are so many Radiant Academy champions in the mix. And you add a stable player as well, Princess Icy, who isn't a main event player, right? So that you can keep the strength in this squad. And it is a recipe for success. And now we're headed into Haven, which again is Super Cat's pick. And their opponent got 13-3 on it by Celius Lee. So this is setting them up like for that perfect 2-0. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, look, if you're enjoying Radiant Academy, you can support Radiant and all their initiatives by buying their merch at Radiant.store. That's the link, Radiant.store. Go now. We're about to go to break. Now is the perfect time to do it. But there is a small thing as well. All the profits go back into supporting future events for marginalized genders. So if you like broadcasts like these, you want to see more of them, Radiant is expanding every day to do more amazing things. This is the time to do it. Radiant.store. We're going to go to a break for just a few minutes. We'll be right back with an amazing map 2 of this awesome series.
Welcome back, everybody. We hope you use the break to cop some new clothing for classes from the Radiant store, like Keg shouted out before the break. But if not, still, thank you for tuning in to a banger round of 16 match between Super Cat and Fruity Fish, where unfortunately, after a 9-3 dominant lead, Fruity Fishy lost their map 1 on Bind, and now we're getting ready to head into Haven. If we take a look back at those maps, which is unfortunately Super Cat's pick.
That's right. Now keep in mind, if you're just tuning in, old map pool, new agents in play, so we're seeing an interesting mishmash, but unfortunately Sunset Ascent are banned out anyways. Bind, like you mentioned, did go a very interesting route, but now we go to essentially the opposite map of Haven. 3 sites, a mid to work with, a lot of communications needed. I'm doubtful for Fruity Fish.
Yeah, I am a little bit worried, but I do think I can pinpoint maybe where I hope they can improve, right? For Bind, the composition they are running, right, it has like 4 out of the 5 agents that you have to say, okay, we need to see frags on these agents or they're not like sound, right? And that was your Yoru, your Reina, your Clove, and your Chamber, right? All those picks, you're like, wait a minute, they don't hold merit in their own. It's in their ability to frag out. And this is another kind of case for Haven, right? They're still going to be running a Clove, a Chamber, a Yoru, and an ISO too, right? Which is what Kurosu swaps over to. So I think what I want to see is, number 1, everybody was pretty much fragging where they needed to, at least in the first half. The second half, it started to fall off, and I think what I want to see on the defense is I need to see Sekia in particular. I've seen them play in a World Series. I know they're mechanically gifted, and if they're on a chamber, right, as a sentinel, they don't have stall on their own. They have to be hitting those headhunter shots, especially on a map like Haven, where they are going to have to anchor the seaside essentially.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and we've seen how malleable Super Cat is willing to be on their attacking side, switching things up, even compositions and approaches that worked so many different times, round after round in a row, still willing to play into the adaptive card to make sure you cannot stay ahead of us. You can play reactively all you want. We got something brand new planned. I do want to mention too, I was wrong. It's Kazler who pushes the boulder up the hill, and not Super Cat. But I mean, look, we all gotta push a boulder up a hill, right?
And that's just life.
That's just life. One giant boulder up the hill. And kind of that's where Fruity Fish is right now too. They have to find a way to Sisyphus their way into Pearl. But we are going to agent select to see what interesting compositions a team like Fruity Fish have conjured up. Yep.
There it is. Going about the route so far, at least, of what they did in that group stage match. So maybe not attributing the loss to the composition just yet, but there's a change. Kurosu going with the Reina instead of the ISO. And what's interesting enough is that Super Cat saying, all right, we're going to pick up an adaptation of your round robin composition, right? They bring out that ISO Yoru composition, but they're not quite sold on the Chamber or the Clove. They go with the tried and true of the Cypher and the Omen here. And they are, in fact, changing even more up on this side, right? Sekia wasn't feeling the chamber, wasn't feeling the frags flowing, like I mentioned, was pivotal for that agent pick. So they go to the more stable Vice, but Haven Vice, Clegg?
I just don't know how I feel about Vice in general. Like, I've watched so many different VODs. I've stayed up. I haven't slept in 14 days, though.
Oh, no.
All Vice VODs, non-stop. Still trying to understand what we can expect from her at the highest levels and even the smallest levels, right? But I do think the stall capabilities off of Sekia's Vice should be very strong. I just don't know where this Vice is going to exist on the defense.
I feel like it's that is a great question. I'm wondering if they're going to kind of use it like a Sage Wall, just like on the B side. I think that's going to be the biggest question, is where the Sheer gets placed. Because I've seen like pretty good setups, I would say, like with the Thorns over towards A. So I think what you want to have from Sekia is split their util A and B personally. Because you can have your Yoru, you can have your Reina play kind of aggressive over towards C long, especially if we see Autumn kind of reprise that operator in particular. But aside from that, right, they've got to be careful, because clearly Supercat has their calling card for these aggressive defensive sides, and now you're on a map as well that's 3 sites, so it's even more attack sided.
You can put the Sentinel utility anywhere you want, but Madison on that Yoru can easily bypass all of it with clones and dimensional drifts, and that's been a big Vice counter that we've seen so far in VCT. A lot of teams have been rocking Vice almost non-stop, and luckily the clones have been a great opportunity to prematurely trigger all that utility. Luckily though, we might be able to see a difference this time. We'll have to wait and see. just about ready for the first round to start, and this pistol, given how aggressive we've seen Fruity Fish in the past, could be pretty telling about what we can expect from their defense that really fell short back on Bind.
Okay. This is nice. I like the flash, the arc rows over towards C. It's kind of acting like a cipher cam that just gets that deep C information. So maybe an early indicator of how they're gonna play it. I mean, this is kind of also reminiscent of a Killjoy setup, right? Instead of an alarm bot Molly to hold down that choke point, it's the Thorns. And I mean, fortunately, they are kind of biting towards the C side. A quick split, trying to challenge Garage Control off of this dart, and it works out beautifully. The smoke respected. The C side just gonna play from backside and see if they can hold on. Ooh.
It is a massacre on C site. Luckily though, Supercat, they've been able to hold back. Small's defensive hold towards the backside of C. Fruity Fish want to make sure they hold that. You lose back of C, you lose everything.
Last player
One
standing.
left alive though, it's bound to
Uh-oh.
rise. Not for much longer. She has fallen.
And that was like I said, a clean exit, and I liked the amount of respect that Fruity Fish showed, right? They didn't fight for default. They stayed on that backside, and they waited for Supercat to fight in deeper. And even the Princess Icy re-clear of Garage was nice, but I think they overstepped their bounds, which is when the script got flipped, right? Bunny finds the kill versus they were sight, you know, and double swinging those backside players. It could have gone a different way. So I like the pacing change here. Fruity Fishy on the board, like you mentioned. Now they have, again, they're back to these hefty buys. 3 Guardians and an Outlaw.
Autumn is waiting. But there's a big battle. Guardian in play. Rise was the last to fall. Last round to clear. The first right click didn't connect. And now it's full sails ahead for B-Site. A collapse.
You should... I was gonna say, Carrie, you should be dead from that Outlaw. The fact they're alive is criminal. Double tap is still active here, prodding, hoping that another player would swing out of A-Link, but that has sent relinquished. Now you're half health from the shock dart. Those walls backside are paper thin as well. Carrie might find that out here soon.
There.
Oh, there it is. The timing from Carrie is immaculate here. It's a meat grinder over towards A short. And the weapon of choice, the Guardian, the GCD. Have to be the 4K. Corrosive Nerves is still sticking it, and oh my goodness! The swing through, the timing, the muscle memory connects, and Princess Icy says, yeah, there may be veterans surrounding me, but I'm my own star.
I mean, B is going to be such an opportunity for either one of these attacking teams if the Vice or the Cypher are the only things active there. Again, I'm still looking at Sekia on this Vice. Has been placing all this utility on C. That means a player on the defense has to watch B at all times. And that's an opportunity for a team like Supercat to overwhelm.
And that they did, especially on Eco. I mean, look at this buy. Bunny, the only one with a Vandal in hand. So what do? They're gonna turn up the heat a little bit, turn up the pace. Really aggressive here over towards A. Link off of Bunny with that rifle. The trade comes through, but they've sprung the trap. They've gotten Kurosu deposited. The Gate Crush out tries to sell it finally here. And how there are gonna be Kurosu, that's too eager. And now you've donated, gifted the Neural Theft as well, just for them to further confirm this round.
Mass Exodus over to A side though. Keep in mind,
going-
Sekia
Scanning ahead.
has had
gonna be
audio.
late.
Rotate back over. Carry, unfortunately,
No
the next
way.
to fall. Fruity Fish again. It is these sheriffs headshotting everybody. Avery, not even a victim of the
going B.
headshot. Princess Icy is on a trip around the world. The Battison
They
is pushed
gotta
up
know.
so far. That's one. Caught off
No way.
guard. Oh, the Battison, don't overheat. Runs away at the perfect opportunity. Okay, all right.
Time to jump.
Battison thanking their lucky stars that got out of that one without being taken down by the
Like the
reversing
cam.
Yoru. Princess Icy's dueling on the other side, a double swing.
Fake teleport.
Like the TP, but the full trust there of Sekia in Autumn, and they are going to clap back with a thrifty of their own.
Last placed.
And
Retrieving
I mean,
thrifty. Not
the
ready
thing
yet.
to attribute it to, Keg, is that Spike was left in spawn. You saw like the scramble, right, from Princess Icy to go retrieve it after they were sitting on A side control for so long. And what did that do? It gave time not only for Fruity Fish to fake a lack of presence on A, but then rotate over to fill that void as well. And that's when those digs get to shine. That's when they collect the weapon upgrades. And even though Battison slips through, they get the trades
win.
and they get the retake.
Rip and tear.
Fruity Fish's positioning
Retrieving phone
here.
trap.
The Yoru Autumn
Watching thorns.
setting up for that gate crash. The TP over to C just in case. The Vice gets overwhelmed as well. Supercat have been taking things pretty slow though. Gate crash also set up for deep down in sewers to fake that pressure. The default early on though. A big contest inside of B.
Oh,
Korosu, hook, line, and sinker.
Good info.
Loves to play sewers.
you know there's too short now, right? Princess Icy uses an
more
opportunity to try and flip into garage, but they know now too. Thorns splintering the players, but speaking of splintering, Bunny oversteps. That's a quick upgrade. They are going to reclaim that position over towards A Long, but they're so split that Fruity Fish not only is down players, but they can't commit to a rotate, and that's just going to keep throwing 1v1s over to Super Cat's side.
Leaves it down to Korosu. Given that they have dropped at least 70 kills last map, this should be their opportunity to get those numbers back up. Korosu at one point had double the kills of the next 3 players who are all even out. It's not going to be this round. Supercat keeping things toe-to-toe, 2-2.
One of my cameras.
And both of their round wins, like, okay, 3 out of the 4 rounds this game have been thrifty wins.
This is just a playground of kills.
And look at Princess Icy, 7-2, right? They were that player that I said, right, would shine having the right support system behind them, and they definitely are right now, surrounded by previous victors, and I mean, on this Cypher as well. Whew.
Oh, Fruity Fish anticipating a C hit. It's actually going to be towards A. Korosu's going to wait
default.
off this Sova arrow to swing.
Thank you.
Rosu, again, scaling down A Long. Speaking of scaling, Autumn tried to do the save over towards C. I mean, at least they're going to lure them into the Vice util, right? You get a pill C, you're going to accelerate through both lanes of Garage and Long. Like you mentioned, Keg, there is that Yoru utility. Not only that, they gate crash into the action! Unfortunately, Grimoire collects the Vandal from their fallen teammate, gets this frag, and now they have to come to a screeching halt. They have lost control over C. Or Grass and Garage, and now again, it's just the over-peaking from Fruity Fish that are gifts towards Supercat.
Oh,
It happens again.
carry. Great cerebral plays, looking out for Korosu, using this opportunity to rotate back over to A site.
No way, no way.
Oh,
No
what is
way.
happening? A spray Princess Icy trying to go deep into the back lines to be the anti-rotate. The Vice has been alive for so long. The confidence to push into C was not there.
Spike
2 left
planted.
now. ISO ult, the Clove ult, both very valuable. Might not be used here.
Oh, especially when Grimoire might even ace.
2?
Last player
Come on.
standing.
4, looking for the last, looking for the 5th. What utility is online for this Omen? Paranoia?
Last player standing.
In Ice
Half?
gets the first. They do the Paranoia. They're blind, but they still get a win. They throw away the fan. They throw away the ace for the round. And now, okay, it's 4 out of 5 rounds that have been thrifty wins.
Another one. Just
Oh my
stop
gosh.
buying. Just rock nothing but sheriffs the entire rest of this half.
Okay, I think we've graduated from Clutch 101 into Thrifty 101.
Microeconomics 103.
Oh my goodness, how to go the furthest with the fewest dollars in the bank. And it definitely has been happening for both of these squads, but this is interesting right now because ults are coming in for both sides, and neither of these teams have had a standard kind of stream of income. And the only thing that has never changed has been the setup between Korosu and Sova. Like, this is something Supercat can expect is this aggression.
Okay.
It's
Plenty of information gained from Fruity Fish's end. The kill contract on the other side. Korosu caught in the blast. It's carry once more. Just having
Well
Korosu's number consistently throughout this map.
All right. The initial trade, no one with a clear player advantage just yet. Oh, perfect gate crash. Autumn could have been in a dicey position. They still are. Now they have nothing to get out of jail when they are fully blinded. I mean, yeah, the K just kind of helped them here. The clone, Hunter's Fury, not enough to shut down this exit. They're trying to hunt down the star player Princess Icy of this map, and they do. Keeping it again, even 3-on-3, but Grimoire changes that. They also would have been able to get it back to life, so it's only a 4v2 now at this point. Which is why Avery wants to get heroic, wants to get aggressive here.
One enemy remaining.
Grimoire, bro, 360 and fighting for their life, and they still survive.
Hey, production, I think we have an issue. It didn't say thrifty on the screen.
Oh. Wait, that's because they haven't defused yet. Oh,
Thrifty!
thrifty! No, I'm joking. And again, came down. I think that was like the cleanest round we've seen get played, right? There were no kind of like crazy kills. It was just, you know, A site gets taken with even advantage. Some utility to try and deny the plant to play around the chaos, and the retake comes through as well off of that Hunter's Fury. So it's a nice way to end the break the cycle, perhaps.
Wow. We'll see if it starts back up. Maybe we just needed a break for one round. Grimoire and Korosu and Autumn set up to potentially at least one singular flash to burst their way down mid.
Oh.
It is just a firing squad both ways. Madison, minor MVP of last round. Info gathered throughout A with their ultimate. First to fall this next round. And Fruity Fish, defensively, off to a great start, having themselves a
The
body
read.
advantage. Princess Icy, spotted,
They
jump,
don't know about Bunny.
cyber cage, camera, information, bait, smokes.
They
Avery,
still haven't cleared out the Sova.
Bunny,
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 Bunny.
Avery!
One enemy
A
remaining.
champion possibly to fall, not checking their corners. It leaves Carrie to be the last one left, and they've been on a tear this map. That's one gone, the other incapacitated with an ultimate. And the last is now just Sekia. Top of heaven is Yoru, no longer discovered. Audio heard,
tap.
Carrie has Spike.
Good info. They also
Fake.
don't have any double tap now. They have time to work
One
off
enemy
the 40
remaining.
seconds.
1v1. Fake,
And the 8 bullets though.
flash, no push up.
30 seconds left.
Double contingency, a wall available. Carrie's just fading out this spike, has the time to do it. Autumn's waiting for the swing, but this one was real.
No wall bangs is surprising there from Autumn. Just trying to play the timing, and
Spotted.
unfortunately their clock might be wrong. A 4K clutch for Carrie after what should have been a catastrophic fault of not clearing out B short, right? Princess Icy makes her A site, is fighting back site. Bunny doesn't take the duel, waits out the trigger discipline, gets the first kill, and Carrie coming into their own this map, right? Stepping out of that supportive role into the ISO and converting beautifully.
I mean, all Carrie has to do as
It's
an
carry,
ISO
no,
is just kill, right? Like there's really
Carry
nothing
like a
else.
carry.
Yeah, honestly, it's just carry. Like there's no like setup needed for an ISO. You just play so reactively to your team and just really just hunt down Korosu is your big win condition.
Oh, finally.
Okay, maybe not. It's Princess Icy.
No, yeah, Princess Icy's been insane. I can't wait to see the first blood count for her in the post game, but see, she's adding to those tallies, and this is what I wanted to see, right? It felt like Supercat was respecting the corrosive pressure up A long, and now they dealt with it at the round get-go. Keeps heavy map control, expands their domain into C and into essentially defender spawn. Bunny, the last. They know they're coming from grass, though. The drone confirms, and now all the util getting dumped here. They're not even gonna let them have a semblance of this site.
Wow. Never see Seaside again for this round. 4-4. It's wild. Both teams have rounds where they look unstoppable, and then the immediate next round they look
Thrifty.
Like, yeah, thrifty. Anything could happen. It's 4-4. The pendulum is swinging so much. The levers about to snap. And it's really down to just Carrie and Princess Icy to determine a lot of these opening picks.
Yeah. Last few rounds, when Princess Icy opens them or opens up a map somewhere, opens up a site, and then another player clutches it out, right? Whether that is Carrie or another player. And I'm not gonna lie, Prince Fruity Fish haven't been as colorful in what they're changing on their defense as they were over on Bind, right? We talked about how they were malleable, but it was still like failing. This round, it's just A hit after A hit, like long. And the pivots have been beautiful from Supercat. That or they just get the kills. I mean, you know, Princess Icy usually finding 2 over towards A long, or Carrie doing the same, then yeah, it's a great way to start.
It's really just Fruity Fish building off of what they think has been working the rounds that they've won. Have the Vice on Seaside. Sometimes Korosu gets that opening pick. Let's stick with that. Pushing B main has not worked for us. We won't do that anymore. Autumn, back
One of these again.
removes Madison. And so we'll probably continue to see this Vice on C-Site. It funnels Supercat into B, and this crunch. Look at the position of this Sova. Avery is set up for it. I'm sorry,
Hey,
excuse
look
me,
at
it's
the
Bunny.
clove. Oh, this could be everything. Do you see that Grimoire can cut off these re-rotations from C lobby and B? They're like, hey
Super
guys,
cat
we have
aren't
all
aware.
of B. Grimoire not to get
timing.
both. Spikes down. That's 30 seconds left.
Attacker spawn. 30
Oh,
seconds left.
Grimoire could have just waited, but you're right. The timing and a lack of information was everything.
Oh,
Okay,
it's not
Autumn.
over yet.
Shell shock behavior there. It leaves it now just the Super Cat having 2 players back on C. The Vice is gone. Certainly no pulse on Kurosu's presence.
Oh no. I mean, you know Kurosu's
Last player
flanking.
standing.
You don't know that Carrie's pushed up, but Bunny with a deagle still wins out the fight regardless. And now it's 3 players just closing in on Rise, and Rise did almost clutch out 1 round. Unfortunately, there's a steal out Grimoire to stick the spike.
Timing's
Let's
everything.
see if they can do it again.
Kurosu. Bait here instead. That's 1 player gone.
away
The
a
shot's
steal?
heard from another. Oh,
Thought Kurosu would be the bait. They were the final kill when they were too fixated on CT. They're like, it's been a little bit too long. Kurosu maybe fizzled out on the flank after finding the kill in spawn, but wow, Keg, what is that now? 5 out of 9 rounds are thrifties? Still
I'm just
over
gonna start
50%?
saying thrifty at the end of every round.
Oh wow, yeah, I think there's been too many thrifties. They're like, okay guys, let's take a little break, skidoodle. But they just won that round too, which makes it more interesting, Keg.
Yeah, I'm surprised, honestly, that we're seeing a timeout from Fruity Fish in general. Usually with very aggressive duelist-heavy stacks, they just don't time out, ever. They're just like, well, we'll W key from a different area. But Fruity
Yeah.
Fish, like you mentioned, I think there has been a lack of, like, big-level adaptability. We've
Yeah.
been seeing the same players, same,
very
if
stale.
not, yeah, approximate positions with slight differences. But the results, like you mentioned, have been really 50-50. And having these rounds won have been good, but the conditions of doing it have been so razor thin that to end off this half in a healthy way, Fruity Fish have to change up majorly if they want to go 8-4 at minimum.
They want to strike that vein of consistency here, right? Because, like you mentioned, they finally get around to them with an explosive performance, and then they get thriftied out of that economy. And I think this is a good round for them. I mean, look, right? Because it was kind of half by that they won last round. Autumn, Kurosu, Bunny have money going into the next round, even if they lose. But again, they want to bolster that, and I think that's why they took that timeout. Number 1, because it hasn't been very colorful. Oh, that's what we thought. They're going for the same strat. Maybe it's because they have that Hunter's Fury, yeah, to set it up. And I was wondering that's what they were going to do. Leverage these ults for success, and they do. They're taking down both of the top fronts from Super Cat's side. And more.
Kurosu just needed a minute.
Oh, up.
I don't blame them.
No way, no way.
Avery?
No way they find the third. Oh my god, they find the third.
My ult is ready.
The champion of Radiant Academy.
Did they hear Bunny?
Oh, how disappointing!
Oh, the cologne from the opposing side. The fellow Sova in arms. Bunny comes to the rescue. They said, okay, guys, I lost us the round. Not able to find the second, and I was tucked over towards short.
Oh my.
I'll step up here.
Autumn now with an op in play. Grimoire opting to go themselves now to a Phantom. I wonder if they're going to aggressively smoke B and spam through it, or at least just hold the smoke position. Aw, Autumn chickened out and is only going for an outlaw.
Again, they wanted that. They wanted that economy consistency for that 8-4. We could see it in the last round, I think, still. But also, sometimes outlaw, you know, the fire rate being higher is preferred, especially when it's an eco round, right? For these players, right? A body shot, they're done. And here we go, Kurosu again, aggressive. I like this from Supercat. They knew that it was gonna happen. They were kind of poised and waiting for it. They're still not done with it. Whew, there it is, one.
Okay.
You also only donate an outlaw, not an op, you know?
That's true. Unfortunately, though, the Clove having their aggressive position outside B main with that Smoke Phantom did not work. Bunny's gonna hide backside, waiting off timer for the recon bolt. Smokes are down. Prime position
Timing.
down. Oh, get one at least. 2 defenders
Good
left
trade.
now. Kurosu's hidden in this smoke. Empress available. Huge, good for one. That is gonna be a singular Lear gone. But look at this reroute. Ult
No
A
way.
main. Kurosu's gone, but they don't know about Sekia's presence. Sekia's
Like-
ultimate is needed here. But the safer spot's gonna be A. Sekia's gonna have a long trek to go.
Spike planted.
All right. The 1v2. Here we go. Sekia. I liked them holding on to that Steel Garden, right? It kept the unknown when they were grass, but now the crossfire set up. Arcro's not even invested to splinter these players. This dark cover, concealing, veiling the time, waiting it out. Respect shown on the graffiti by no one from Hell swings, and now it's down to 1v1, but carry again. When they are needed, they step up.
Oh,
Last round
great
in
call
the
at the
half.
end not to secure the spike down B main, rerouted to A because Rise had secured the entire follow through from A long to the beginnings all the way through site, made sure that there was no flank available. It was a singular 50-50 funnel that Sekia would have to push into, and like a lot of players retaking, it's very hard to win that 50-50. So now, final round of the half. Fruity Fish have been barely keeping afloat. This is an ult fiesta.
And this is where I look at both of these comps, and I still say Fruity Fishies is slightly attack when you look at the Vice and the Flash over the Cypher, but 6-6 on an attack-sided map, I'd take that as a win if I was a Fruity Fish. And carry the ISO now in the forward front instead of the clutch seat, the clutch position, and look at that, coupled with the neural theft, that is nasty. You know where they're coming from, you know what angle to take the fight on. And the rest of your team just carried that momentum forward into the plant, into extensive control. And now, I mean, it's all down to Autumn with an operator on the opposite side of the map. I said we were going to see it in the last round of the half, but fortunately it's not in the position you need.
Well, we see it, but we didn't really saw
See
it.
it, yeah. Oh, that's brutal. That's bullying. You know where they're coming from. Direct Hunter's Fury. Little team damage, but it's all just that Madison up for that kill, the success, the flawless, the 6-6 tied half here on map 2.
This makes me worried now. Fruity Fish, they did not have a great defensive half on Bind. They weren't able to secure as many rounds. But on the attack, I feel they may falter in the same position. We are at a reset. 6-6. Fruity Fish have to step up the comms, which were lacking defensively on Bind to bring it home, and attacking on this map requires a lot of ingenuity in moving parts to secure a round.
And I think that's where I'm like now questioning, right? I go back to it was a 13-3 against Seriously, right? We don't know what half they got those 3 rounds on. Could have been like a pistol, a follow-up, and then a complete clothesline. And that's what's concerning is maybe they were just a defense-sided team, and against Seriously, maybe they started out on the attack. We'll have to wait and see. A fast C exec here. 2 players, Princess Icy again. They don't have a way other than the clone to clear out this utility. The gate crash tracked. They know now there's a crossfire set up back site. Players, the double tap has filtered in as well. Players stunned at default. They're not looking behind them. Carry dropped, and what? How does Princess Icy survive that round?
a great collapsing read. Naturally, it's kind of a thrifty round.
It's pistols.
Kind of a thrifty.
It's okay. Fruity Fish will get thrifty now, you know? Deagles in hand. Shorty maybe for Autumn with a nice little
That's
gate
what I'm
crash.
saying. Just magical powers evolve on Haven with pistols here for these 2 teams. No spike picked up.
Now we wait.
Again, a battle of... Well, okay, now it's picked up. Of rushing down mid. Cypher Trip will be in the way.
Nice adaptation.
That's true. Oh, outlaw number 1 from Carry. You really don't want to build up kill contract against this ISO, though, despite Fruity Fish looking to just eco-break Supercat.
I mean, that's a beautiful pairing, too, because now when you have an outlaw posted on B, the last thing you expect is this trap wire. So, delay, the re-swing out of the close smoke. They find a second. Shock darts, at least get the trade, but fortunately it was at the cost of their teammate's life. Someone has to step up. You need to at least collect one of these hero rifles, and Kurosu's trying to do so. They get the read on where a singular player is, which is Avery here, but they don't have a weapon. What? No way. Was that Carrie's outlaw too?
Oh. Just looking at the kills gained by Supercat into this round, plus the fuse, everyone's racking up their ults very healthily. Oh, especially the neural theft here off the Princess. That's going to be so great as we approach broken buys and full rifles for either one of these teams.
This round, those light shields, those regen shields aren't going to protect you from Carry and this outlaw. So I gotta see them be extra careful with their utility usage. Arc Rose, the flashes, the leers need to be on point to flush this ISO out. That's, I think, why they're starting off in this default. You talked about Spike being in spawn last round. Well, now it is this round. And It's Nico, so look at this. They're actually setting up an aggressive front towards grass, right? Your Yoru, your Omen, out dry, peeking, holding the grass angle. Please clear it. There it is. The thoroughness that I asked for.
TV's out now, smoke in response, B main, a drone hunting down, finds nothing inside of a garage. The upper part, though, may have spotted out this Yoru. Could have been Madison.
Oh.
Princess Icy now one off the neural theft. Still trying to be able to rack so many of these early on. Autumn's gone. The clone lives, continues.
Oh, Madison has just like had such interesting luck, right? Misses the shots, body blocked into another kill, flashes themselves. Now all this behold is on Rise. Nice shot here. Carry set up now to hopefully carry on their legacy. The Outlaw, the smoke almost saving them here from that. Now they find a kill grass as well. Like, yes, you have low HP on Bunny, but if they can find this C site, they can break through Princess Icy in their domain.
Ooh.
No way.
All setting up for a C-long attack and backside control, both of which the holes were found, and Grimoire removes away Princess Icy. It's just an outlaw for carry. So low
Just
HP
an
on
outlaw?
both these players. That's right, both players are able to be one-shot by the outlaw's blasts.
Last player standing.
It's a
Grimoire
different
on
reality.
for the second possible ace of the game. Denied it last time, clutched instead. Avery has a rifle in hand too, picked off one of those players. Little double swing, the low HP, and Grimoire finally gets the crown they've been searching for. Okay, you know what's only sad about that ace? Is that it
What's
steals away the title of that round being a thrifty. Because it was. It overrides a keg.
Oh,
But it was, right? That was... Wait,
thrifty! Now, what is the
Alright.
plan for Fruity Fish? Grimoire, fresh off an ace, not dead yet, available, can absolutely rush down A. The neural theft is available, sure, but on a collapse like this, it'll only do so much.
Ooh. And again, the difference between these two teams staggering. No fight for A long. They fight passively for the site control. You know, Autumn at least was short to deploy a clone, but the pressure is actually the pressure is actually mounting out of long and right into Avery. But Grimoire after that ace is not dead just yet. Carry into throws out of bullets with a classic in hand. The RNG connects, but the trade keeps Grimoire, that star player, alive side by side with Kurosu, the previous fragger on map 1, who is hungry for kills.
There.
Looking for the isolated players. They're split up.
Oh no. Kurosu has the perfect
They know.
angling against Rise.
They're
Could
somewhere,
Rise just
though.
TP across?
There.
Avoid this whole interaction?
They probably have a
and help-
paranoia.
And help their teammate
Last
above?
player standing.
They don't need to help Princess Icy because Princess Icy will be the one that has to clutch this out. Gnarl Theft utilized perfectly. Kurosu says, let's play the safe angle. Let's not play for the spam. Waiting for the second reveal before retucking as well. So now the question is, do they go CT? Do they go default? Now you know. The jump down secured, at least safe passage for now. The jump pick with the knife. Oh my goodness. Princess Icy is locked in. Winning
great.
out the round. Celebration and all. Skin shopping too. The defuse to soon follow.
Just great response off of the wide swing from Princess Icy. An entire game plan in mind off the neural theft. Unbelievable. Thrifty.
Thrifty.
It's 9-7.
The last map in the distance, this one definitely is. We knew it was going to be close. Couldn't quite call who would come out on top, but one thing is for certain. Fruity Fish, with this composition, is doing a lot better than they did in the group stage against Seriously. Now they have to find how can they close it out, right? A staggered by right now. The Empress, we could see Kurosu come back to life. I think that's what we need. They want to tie things up if they want to claim that lead. Because right now, it's a heavy, spotlight on Grimoire.
No massive wide swing from Kurosu this round. Instead, Avery was able to get away with her
What time do they
life.
have?
Kill contract available. The clone immediately was
What?
caught.
Oh, they captured the clone.
Unlucky. Madison off of the hands of these ults. It is just a Christmas tree of slaughter. Grimoire moves
getting
away
another
now
one.
with a 3K into this
I
round.
know.
Already immediately sensing the flank. A shot
remaining.
confirms
No
more
way.
for Grimoire. This could be a fifth. Another ace for
Back to
Grimoire
back?
on this map. Back to back, Rise. A wide swing's all that's needed to remove this omen, secure another
player
ace, and
standing.
it's denied! The 50-50! You win both! And Rise brings Super Cat the double digits!
Wow, I was about to, you know, start a spiel of how Grimoire's LFT, right? After back-to-back aces, but Rise says, hey, I'm back from retirement too. Gets the clutch. They've been in so many of those this map, and a dynamic one like that where you could see that Sekia was trying to set them up for that ace, and fortunately it's just not enough.
Kicking and screaming, Fruity Fish have gotten on site pretty consistently. It's these post plants that Super Cat have been able to get their leverage. A side once again, no Wavery this time. It's Carry, Outlaw available. Light Shield has been read into, looking for this opening
Trap play.
blast.
Madison, that is a beautiful idea. You know, they're, oh my gosh, but the timing of the sheer wall saves the life of the Sova, and they don't expect them to fight back over it. Bunny, you're the one that has to count your lucky stars. It keeps this a 4-on-4 for this squad. You talked about taking sites. Well, this time they cannot do the same for A. And now they're sandwiched as well. They're trapped lobby, the scale up from Rise and from Princess Icy here. Ooh, a lucky shot alerts them to the fact that there is a player garage here, but that might also be intentional, you know? Clear, obscure, the fact that Rise is flanking, about to pinch the remaining players, and there it is, spike down, paranoia follow-up just to escape.
Great decision making and great comms to help Rise secure that kill. 2 left now for the attack, 45 seconds left, no map control gained. From the shadows, lifted through across the map, the secure C site. That is not the response, and that all but confirms the A side push that Carrie's watching out for.
Smoked off. We only have one
30
smoke. This is
seconds
smart, right? It should get you at least to a safe plant. It covers CT and Heaven. And it really was pick your poison, right? Rotate into Rise or rotate or fight into Carry where you know they have the Outlaw in hand. You don't know that they're holding this angle though. Bunny takes the dive. They know they're going hell. They're visible, but the shot's still aligned. And it's down to a 2-on-2.
Grimoire's waiting for top of heaven now. Not dead yet, still available
flank?
just in case. Will it be used?
There it
Yes.
is.
One left.
No,
Oh, there goes
not
the
again.
ult. Princess Icy. She's been here before, but it's not the same result. Bunny gets the 4K to keep Fruity Fish alive.
Wow. And again, Bunny in this map has just gone from 0 to 100 in more times than one, right? We talked about that round where, again, trigger discipline results in, yes, a kill, but not the trade. And then they clutch out the following round. And then last time, right? Or this round in particular, right? They went from should have been dead, done, and dusted in a Hunter's Fury from a push off of the dimensional drift of Madison into winning a fight over the sheer wall and clutching with 4 kills to keep Fruity Fish essentially in this game. 2 rounds separating. Ooh, but they run into another Outlaw over towards C Long.
There goes a lot of flash potential now. Off of Fruity Fish. There's still Vice and Reyna available, yes, but they're not Yoru flashes. Kurosu does get rid of Avery. The original plan was to push into C. That's not a possibility anymore. Madison securing the kill, blind with the near sight against Kurosu, but unfortunately doesn't live to see much longer beyond that.
Kegi pointed out they were having a hard time in post plant, so what do? Ensure they have the advantage before Spike goes down. And it's back to the clutch squad, right? It's these 2 players time and time again, and I mean, it's no other duo you want to have this, but at this point they know. Princess Icy, if they can, they're always flanking. And this time Rise doesn't have a weapon to get the clutch done, right? The 1v3, the judge in hand, right? Now, you have no weapons to collect here, right? There's an Outlaw in heaven from Madison, right? At this point, you're just maybe trying to die to the spike, take a weapon or 2 out of the hands of Fruity Fish since they aren't out of the dark or out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, the call could be that Rise could use a lot of this utility. May try to go for the stealth here. Everyone's ran away.
They're trying to
but
find
the
a player
answer's
right
no.
as they're getting
Not
out
even
of
an attempt at that.
dodge.
There's far too little time.
Oh, maybe
Why
get
not
done
just
here?
go in and
Oh, there it is, yeah.
hope for the best? The judge was
9 to
not
10.
meant to be saved.
Fruity Fish used a timeout earlier in this game.
Very great round.
So they
from
won't be
Fruity
able to
Fish.
take
I
one
like the
now
change-up
unless they
early on.
want to run the risk of
Contest
having to
against C did
go
not go
OT or
well for
close
their
things out.
team. But Kurosu
At this point,
opening
this
up
is
A off
another
the death of
pivotal
Avery
round. Look,
allowed
Super
a
Cat
mass rotation
doesn't have
from
money.
Fruity Fish
They
to
lose
get
this
site
round,
control,
not just as a
which is-
tide, but Fruity Fish will have ults to convert.
That's true. And Fruity Fish now They were able to hold in the sight. Supercat have struggled to take these retakes, especially at a body disadvantage in recent rounds. Once again, trying to recreate history. This time,
Death ball?
Autumn, not backside C. No opening picks unless it's off the hands of Rise. Double Yoru, double destruction. It's Avery's ult on top. Oh, excuse me, it's Bunny's ult on top.
Whoa, they should not be alive right now.
What is
and now
happening?
you're in thorns. Autumn? I mean, okay.
Just chaos everywhere. No one can see a dang thing.
No, they don't have a
Kurosu's good for one. Sekia secures a 4th kill. Grimoire with a shorty at that distance. It's all in vain. 2v2. Both Sovas left, but as I say that, I stand corrected. Supercat once more. A very quick rotate, expecting a C hit.
I'm just so confused about how that round went.
It
Like-
is just a mess of smokes everywhere.
Yeah. Not just that, but it felt like Supercat was like planning on playing retake, right? Like you mentioned, no Autumn, or sorry, nobody extra backside aside from Rise. And that was just, then they just funnel in one after another and close out the exec altogether. And that was the round we said they had to win if they wanted to keep, you know, tracking up these rounds, marking down the tallies, and they do. But Fruity Fish, not out just yet, right? They had that buy that I mentioned. They have the ults like the Empress, like the Steel Garden. This is a slower approach, right? Splinter, divide and conquer, find these opening frags, trust in the hero plays of your star players.
I really want to see where this Steel Garden exists. It's right now just a game of playing for picks to see how Fruity Fish can open up this attack. Madison's angling, Kurosu's gone. Very little info gathering out of the hands of just this Sova. More could follow up. All for naught. Again, I'm still looking at this Vice ult. We could see it maybe as an entry tool somewhere on this map. But Rise is already pushed up. Body disadvantage amounting against Fruity Fish. This could be their last chance not to go to OT.
Spike down
Sekia,
mid.
a very big struggle on this map. Has to clutch it up here with an ace, and that's not going to happen.
Wow, and Princess Icy.
Match point.
Map 1 to map
close
2,
up
the
shop.
jump insane, staggering. About to drop a 30 bomb, mind you, without going to overtime. Like, yeah, if you're Supercat, like, yeah, you want the 2-0, but I want to see Princess Icy get a 30 bomb at least, guys. Come on, like, don't, like, if there's like one player left, maybe let Princess Icy get the kill. But we'll have to get through that first. A staggered buy again. We saw this over on Bind where they had to save rifles to get a buy together. This time they didn't, right? They went all in, they sacrificed it all. And it's 3 rounds required, and at least the consistent thread this map has been Thrifty is because they need one now.
And Madison just loves ulting. Ulting is their middle name. You can check the gummy, the birth certificate, but even then, Madison finds so much information early on. The escape options available too. Clone is there for the bait. Oh,
They're like, let's do it just in case.
Oh, Yoro's got some cavities. He's got to see a dentist. But that didn't really do a lot. Yeah, it slows down Fruity Fish, but overall, it doesn't sway them away from their overall plan. Madison's now backside C. We've seen these quick collapses from Supercat before. Madison just needs to stay alive for at least one pick.
There it is. Perfect crosshair placement. Sees the future, deals with Kurosu, and now Rise, who's been anchoring here in Garage, finds the late push up from Autumn Grass with a Judge.
Spike planted.
Unfortunately, they didn't have a weapon for you to upgrade to, other than a Spectre, but it won't matter if those weapons are robbed away by the Steel Garden. 3v4, they are putting everything on the line here and still have a numbers disadvantage. They evade its parameters, they funnel back in, it was Madison alone. The rest respecting this, possibly forced to, off to the Thorns, the Razor Vines off the metal. These 2 players trying to clutch it out.
Last
They
player
might.
standing.
Oh my gosh, it's all down. The bunny, and oh my god, they're just gonna stick. It's over.
Wow.
They're just gonna try to survive here. Wait out the timer, and they win the duel. The cherry on top. The question remains: did we get the 30 bomb from Princess Icy? I don't know, okay?
I don't know either. I wasn't keeping track. My accounting was off, but I'm sure production will be very happy to tell us. Supercat, the calm difference was very apparent from the end of map 1 throughout all of map 2. Very impressed with how we've used the A word so much in this series, but again, how adaptive they've been throughout all of this. And I'm looking at the production chat right now.
No!
You want to give the news, Obi?
They were robbed of the 30 bomb. They
By how
maybe
much?
1 kill.
1 kill. That's 29, right?
Oh, yes.
Out of 30. Unlucky.
Oh, I mean, they may be robbed of the 30 bomb, but no one can deny the impact that they had on that map. On the attack half, consistent openings, consistent clutches, and then they were always a thorn in their side on the defense, right? I mean, you were pulling a star player like Grimoire out of the battle to clear the flank because you always were a threat there. Like, they were just like perfect for completing this squad. And again, I think 2 things stood out to me from the side of our little fishies, our fruity fish as well, was number 1, right? They depended on these heroic players to frag out, like we saw from Kurosu on map 1, like we saw from Grimoire on map 2. And number 2, Haven definitely does not feel like it's in their wheelhouse at the moment. Like, yes, it's a pug squad. I talked about how there's the core, right, of the Fisher Fumblers there. But again, the playbook, the strat book just looked so dull in comparison to how Bind was colorful in their defense. Like, yes, they were losing defensive rounds, but they had new, interesting trap plays at different part of the maps, whether it was shower, whether it was sand. And those were, like, they were harder to read, I would say. But this time it was just Death Ball C. It was just consistently fight for A long. And it was very predictable, I would say, for the side of Supercat to get that win.
The greatest invention Valorant has ever made is adding 3 sides to a map. It changes everything for team dynamics, and you could tell by the end of Bind, okay, Supercat is a team that is operating off each other in the server well. I'm not talking macro, I'm not talking strategies, I'm talking positioning, placement, communication, and you can go back into this VOD all the way up until the very final round of Haven and see, wow, these team members, even some retirees coming out of the old folks home to play, know how to communicate and really maximize off of each other. The strategy pool was there for both teams 30 seconds in. It was a game plan of, okay, how do we just take the opening pick and disrupt whatever this opposite team had planned? After that, it was really a battle of just being able to talk to each other. And Supercat, if they can continue like that, you can see why Avery has been this unstoppable force in Radiant Academy.
No, for sure. Again, we saw those star players, but unfortunately, what would have been a banger grand finals, like I said, leads to an early departure of Fruity Fish from Radiant Academy, as we now will see Supercat move on into the quarterfinals. But speaking of quarterfinals, that's not all the action we have. We're going to get ready for our coverage of the quarterfinals between Berserkers Dawn and Tnax GC up next for you. So make sure you take a break, you hydrate, and come back to Radiant GG to catch all the action.
And Radiant.store.
Yes, buy merch. Thanks.
I want you to stop what you're doing right now and think about what you did today. Did you go to Radiant.store? Sure, you woke up, you looked in the mirror maybe, you ate breakfast, but did you check out Radiant.store? Bet you didn't. I think now's the time to do that while we talk about the bracket because we're speeding things in. We're just about ready for our next series of the day.
And that series jumps us forward into the quarterfinals, and we'll also get to see how some of the other matches panned out. I do believe, as you can see, we got Hyper, Reserve GC, seriously. The match we're going to be covering, Berserkers Dawn versus Next. Super Cat, we just watched. Goats on Boats, glad to see that name made it through. Hopefully we get to cast him later on tomorrow. Minecraft 123, I'm a part of a Minecraft server out of those players, so I understand where the name comes from. And then Sad Retirement Home, which is the players that maybe are passing on from competing with Sad as an Ori. But let's go back to the match that we're casting first. Berserkers Dawn versus Tanax GC. Both of these rosters newly announced for these organizations as well, Keg. But you're going to see some familiar names, some familiar faces in the GC space on both of these squads when we jump into the game. But before that, we got to figure out what maps they're playing on. So, Keg, why don't you take us through with the map picks and bans?
Real quick, I'm glad you were able to know where Minecraft 123 came from. That's good.
I'm part
But-
Raven from Teddy Detectives is on the team, and they have a Minecraft server that I'm on.
I never heard of Minecraft until now. I'm just messing with you. But Pearl, Sunset are gone. Haven, Split, Abyss are the last 3 maps available here for this series. I mean, we just came far away from Haven, and we saw how much of a thrifty Haven that map can be. Split and Abyss, I think, are going to be interesting choices. We've been seeing a lot of wild picks in the early days of VCT kickoff, so I'm honestly going into this not really knowing what to expect for agent comps.
I can tell you maybe say for like Berserkers, and it's gonna be pretty similar to what we saw actually out of the side of Super Cat. They like their ISO, they like their Yoru, but then they go kind of traditional with the rest of the composition. The other squad can't really tell you, but when I look at this map pool, I can say that it's kind of 50-50. One of these teams is kind of favored on Haven, which is great to see, and one of them later on is favored on Abyss, so we'll have to see kind of how it goes. Split's kind of that question mark for me personally, and I'm glad we're at least getting a confirmed split on this map.
Yeah, me too. I think we've had a really healthy pool of maps so far that we've got to see on stream. Do you think this goes to map 3?
Ooh, I haven't actually gotten to see these newer rosters from either of these teams, so big question mark, but for the sake of production and the sake of the players, I'm hoping it's a 2-0.
I mean, to be honest, if I'm production, yeah, I mean, maybe you want a shorter day, but you want to get
It's 9:37 p.m.
You want to get the most viewership you can, right? You have more opportunities for people to go to Radiant.store.
You're not wrong. Hopefully the VCT matches are ending and everyone comes
That's
this
true.
way. Imagine we got raided by VCT Americas right now. Just joking. But Keg, I gotta circle back before we go into game.
What's up?
You said you didn't know what Minecraft was as a joke. I made you a Minecraft skin. Who are you trying to fool?
That's a very good point, actually. When I stream, I point it out every single time.
Bro,
I give the credit where
W.
credit is due. All right, we're going to Agent Select. We can't talk about Minecraft anymore.
We have other main characters to talk about, and it's a great introduction to the rosters as well, since we get them up on the screen, right? Instead, and I talked about how there's some familiar names, Keg. Which ones do you recognize here?
Rezora, of course.
Okay.
Playing the Breach on 10x. What do you think ISO's favorite Minecraft block is?
ISO's favorite Minecraft block. Obsidian kind of matches his aesthetic, no?
Ooh, Crying Obsidian.
That one too, yeah. I was
he's like
thinking
an
it's a little bit
e-boy?
brighter. Is he? Sure. The boba kind of isn't an e-boy trait, but
Oh, are you kidding me?
maybe. I don't know. But I gotta point out, look who's on their evil arc. It's evil Oppie, right? They tried being good, now they're the villain possibly of this story. And being on Duelist, being with the newer squad, familiar. And then, yes, their name's been shortened, but May is Mochi May as well, who's like a consistent player, in the GC main circuit too. I think they always are kind of that curse of like early playoffs or late groups getting cut. So hopefully them making it deeper to Rated Academy will prove to be effective for the main Game Changer circuit this season.
There's really not a lot of major changes from either one of these two teams, especially because we're going back-to-back Havens. We saw the
Yeah.
double ice,
Oh.
double Yoru May.
They're trolling.
Oh,
There's no
hey,
smokes. You can't fool us.
Rezora. Come on, Rezora.
You've played Breach already today. It's gonna be the Breach.
You already have Evil Oppie playing with you. Don't let them rub off on you. But no, we saw the double ISO, double Yoru before. We had the ISO from last time. Carrie played really well on ISO, and that's just because the main prerogative of your player is just kill. You don't really have to set up anything. You just bounce off your teammates and just take advantage of space.
This is true. They have a Yoru at their side as well this go around, but it also wasn't up against a Jet, right? We had the kind of opposing, also kind of wonky comp of the Reyna and the Yoru. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna go, because like what we were consistently seeing, right, was Kurosu just push up A long, right? And then they would just get stuck, right, after using their Leers. So when you have a Jet that can tailwind away and can still get aggressive and get away with those kills, then I don't think you're going to be as successful in taking that space. I think we saw Carry especially like to go short, clear out those players, farm those kills, and then kind of be that clutch entry factor. But this time, that way it's going to be on Dez to carry forward. And Arthur's also another player that's been around in this scene, like it's a consistent name. You see in tournaments, Lover as well has started to make a name for themselves. But aside from that pistol to kick things off here, and it feels like they were waiting maybe for an aggressive play, but now quickly ramping up into possibly B exec. Thoroughness, the key to success, clearing out that trip as well. There's not really much contestation here. They're kind of just respecting it so far on the side of Berserker's Dawn.
I like this push up from Evil Oppie. The good Oppie would never do this. It is a fast track over to A site. The Cypher util is somewhat there. There is a Gate Crush nearby, but it expelled. Now, this could turn into a gigantic flank from Berserkers. There is no flank watch util, and 10X are not going to be expecting this.
Spike planted.
I mean, you didn't expect to end up A, so why have a trip there? But because you won't be there. Yep, they have definitely already debuted in this as the villain. 2 kills, the rest of the players, it's very sporadic, very chaotic, filtering out onto his site. 3 on the board, looking for the ace! Bjorn, you're the real villain here, how dare you?
Evil Oppie twirls again the golden fiddle after signing a deal with the devil to get the 4K. Unbelievable star here from 10X GC. Your big question going into this was the enterability for this attacking side, and Evil Oppie really have to use a lot of utility to do it, but the fact that the shock bolt destroyed the Cypher trip early on, it allowed a fast track to A site, caught Berserkers, I'm sure off guard seemingly. The flank didn't work after that. Was a very good tempo setter for 10X's side.
It really was. I think just also Berserkers showing them too much respect, right? Didn't fight after that trip was destroyed for the B site. Maybe expected them to stay B. Like, they look like they were just prepared. Like, yeah, they expected Tenax to stay B, and they go A. And Evil Oppie, with that 4K, forces the rifle here. This smoke, though, probably setting off some alarm bells. So they're gonna wait, and they aren't traded out. Yes, chips down ever so barely to walk away with their life. 20 HP, but sight falls under their control. They shuffle the spike on, get the plant down.
Spike planted.
I mean, 2 players for the retake. No weapons in hand. They saw one cross. Might just be a die to the spike kind of angle here from heaven.
I mean, just let Oppie get these 2 kills, right? 1 off Blade Storm. You can pick that up easy peasy, A or C next round. Have a free Vandal for somebody.
I mean, they gotta know at some point here. That's why they're, I think, checking spawn. Probably expecting them to be dying to spike at this point. They know they're not saving any weapons. The smoke here, interesting. They can't lose a rifle, though. That'd be terrible, guys, if you lose too many weapons. And hopefully, yeah, Vandal will get recovered to carry the weapons forward. But that could have gotten dicey real quick with that smoke.
Yeah, that was a little ego there from 10X, but, you know, it's a good way to secure those ult points. Evil Oppie, though, 3 off of getting that ult. Same with Bjorn. The Hunter's Fury, sooner rather than later, would be a huge opportunity for either post-plan or just straight up creating space off of Oppie's just willingness to create space.
You said, Keg, that they signed a deal with the devil with that 4 kills on the pistol round. In my mind, Bjorn just, set their village an origin story by stealing their ace.
Oh, jeez. Ever since that day, Oppie was never the same.
They seeked out their prey, and the opponent that waltzed into the wrong corner was Berserker's Dawn. They have rifles in hand, but with Oppie back under control and at full HP of this rifle, this hero rifle for the squad, let's see what they can do.
Seems like we do have a minor tech pause here.
Yeah.
Oh, Evil Oppie still has yet to die. Immortality, but at what cost? To play Jet?
Unfortunately, with for the tech pause, it's like you'll live to see another day.
It's like Bjorn's like one of those 1930s detectives.
Ah, kid. I see you want to play Jet, huh? Oh, well, sign a deal with the devil.
It's the 3rd round. Is Oppie enough to kind of give us that first thrifty of the map? We talked about how was it accredited to Haven, to the teams that we were seeing? I think it was the latter, but maybe these 2 teams in the quarterfinals can prove us wrong. Maybe Oppie can prove us wrong, because they also, I feel like, was a major difference, was they didn't force up as heavily as the teams we saw in our previous best of 3, right? So I feel like when you force up heavier, you have a higher fall off, right? If you do end up losing. And this squad, what did they have? They had 2 pistols, they had 2 Spectres, and they had the 1 Vandal, right? Versus the other squad, going like 3 Bulldogs, a rifle, for example. And I think that's going to make it harder to convert this 3rd round, but when you have a player, like you mentioned, that's immortal at the moment, not in rank, in in life
Well,
force.
maybe it won't. Maybe even
I'm
higher
gonna hope,
than
I'm hoping
mortal.
they're Radiant. I'm gonna call it Oppie. Please be Radiant. I'll check later. It was a pop quiz. We'll see if I aced it. But aside from that, ready to jump back into the game as the Tech Plus comes to a close.
Yeah, I mean, going off what you were saying before too is in terms of buy-ups, right? We saw Korosu specifically buy up heavy in the last series. Evil Oppie may be able to get one here. Oh my, that's fake. But still, plenty of calls have been made, all the while buying time for the Cypher to lurk up B main. No Cypher util present. A player has to watch B main for the anti-rotate. And this opening duel inside of B main, if they're not spotted. Unbelievable! Just opens up B site entirely.
I think I cursed it by mentioning it. The thought of a Thrifty, you will it into existence so Fave can just survive. Because now they've lost the sight of the B control. They lost that rifle. And now you're fighting into so much Cypher utility. I mean, I'm surprised that the planter is even alive at this point. It all falls down to the villain instead of this story. Trying to fight forward into CT. Instead, reflects the space, waits for May to set them up, but they get crashed in. No one expects Arthur from behind. The sound cue not enough for the reactivity. Now again, it's down to Oppie. This time also with Razor at their side, one of those Spectres that was carried forward. The close quarters, the delay utility. All perfect, and the run and gun for 2! No way. It's a clutch from Oppie. This has to be.
It's Evil Oppie. You put honor on the evil part of their name? Oh, dancing around, just waiting for the opportunity. Still, no, Evil Oppie!
I said it.
The vampire's been vanquished, but at what cost again? Just barely diffusing.
And I was expecting them to do like a wide swing there, right? But no, the consistent close angle lever tracks it down. And I said this was a player making a name for themselves, and this is why. And they don the cape, take down Evil Oppie just when needed, when it was gonna be again a Thrifty loss off of some run and gun of a Spectre, off of a insane, devilish timing from Abe on the B site. But for now, it's all sunshine. It's all rainbows. It's normalcy for once in the economy flow here. But still, that damage. Look at like the weapons for Berserker's Dawn. They gotta do something crazy, and they tried to do that over towards A Long.
Very big adaptation. There's now a Cypher trip B main.
They started on pistol. What do you mean?
Don't want a repeat of last round.
This is true.
There's a big push up outside of A lobby. Don't want to give 10x that space. Response here has been now 10x waiting inside mid for a swing. Any response, really.
Wow.
Ira
Revenge.
removing Ave.
So no more lurking for you, whether it's through B or down C long. Looks like they're still gonna explode into the C side. Maybe try to avenge the fallen teammate here. Deal with the trip. This is gonna be good though. 2 players now scaling down C long. Massive info, and now if the Omen pivots, they can pinch.
10x are none the wiser
know.
about this big lurk.
stun.
No, there's no way.
They stunned it. They know.
They do
have
know.
to.
Evil Oppie. Do they know it's
They don't
two?
clear the Yoru. No, they don't clear the Yoru, and they still don't know the Yoru's there. They're expecting 1-1 then. Surprise, surprise. Knock, knock. Yes, you get Ira, but Arthur's there. And it's all down to Bjorn and the Bucky, of course. That's a pseudo thrifty. I count it.
What a great shutdown. I mean, even just taking down the anti-lurk of the attacking Cypher was a great start for Berserkers. Any early map pressure, any hidden slithering onto a site was completely nullified and forced 10x to play as a squad. It was such a great read overall for Berserkers to know, hey, we have A control. We can watch B with the Cypher util. C should be this option for the attackers to funnel into. We could just straight up collapse on them.
Wait a minute. That's not normal.
Okay.
A Cypher with an off.
Sure. I mean, the cyber cages are placed in a way to hopefully be an escape option if this first
sense.
shot misses. But this is more for lay round. The call here, 3-stack on A, is that, okay, these attackers are going to go back to what worked. And that was A site.
Wow, lots of util. Arthur in the nick of time. Gate crashes out, and you've left it, like you said, those extra players here to hold up that space. Oppie, the blades replenished. May with the deagle shot as well at their side. Oh, but Arthur, the timing, pinpoint accuracy to shut them down, make it at least a 3v4. But at this point, if they can get the spike down, which they have Hunter's Fury, they have Rolling Thunder, they have a perfect post plant.
I mean, if you're the Optic Cypher, you really want this Breach ult to be detonated this round. I don't know if the retake's going to be possible with such a
Dimensional drift.
big... Oh, Dimensional Drift occupied. Maddie falls. The call should be to save, and that's already what Ira's doing. Goodbye. Oh, unlucky there. I think there was some miscommunication from Berserkers about whether or not they wanted to reapproach the site.
Yeah. I think they were. It's like Arthur dives in and is like, guys, go for it. And then the player dies heaven and it's like, okay, well, now no one's really there to fight alongside me because my Cypher has an operator. And you can even see how prepared they were, right, for a swing to come through that dark cover. They were pre-firing and expecting it off of the Dimensional Drift. And so that's a win for Tenax, along with the round, along with the lead reclaimed. And along with the fact that they get to hold on to those ultimates for another post-plant approach. And I think that's only going to turn up the ante now for Berserkers Dawn, right? They're going to be like, okay, now it's even more important to close them out, to not let them get side control, because we cannot retake against that until those are flushed out.
Yeah, it's really just about finding a way to make 10x use these ults very early on, and we should see a lot of additional pressure from Berserkers into this first round. Recon bolt, potential maybe for the ISO ult to be built up into this round.
Oh!
Very nice to get rid of evil Oppie. Cleansed a little bit, I suppose. And 10x's response is just to play slow, looking for these aggressive plays early on.
I mean, it's characteristic of the comp. It's what Supercat did against their opposition, but...
Sharp Bolt did not take out that Cypher trip. It had to be manually done.
I mean, even if it was broken either way, they have their own omen posted up there. This is what we talk about, what goes south. You're getting too aggressive. I thought that's what we were going to see from Arthur, but that silence is shattered by Maddie. Over towards this B site. They entrusted in her to hold down the space and did so correctly. Look at that. Beautiful. With the spray! Okay, we're good.
Down A.
Yeah, at this point, there's not really much Ave can do here.
Get the spike.
Good luck.
Oh! One step at a time, and unfortunately, they are tumbling down those stairs. Flawless here from Berserkers Dawn to tie things up 3-3. And I think for Tenax, again, that default just kind of crumbled as soon as the first player fell.
Ooh. A lot of these No, hold on. A lot of these plans seem to be dictated off of Ira's positioning. Setting up for B. Expectation now. Berserkers are wanting this 10x to approach C site. So they set up the anti-rotate for Ira to hold the op so wide. No? They're not okay. Safer than I thought. Not A long.
Wait,
Holding
look
for
at the
top
orb.
heaven.
Arthur
They want
pushing
this.
down grass. And I love they have the Omen at their side, ready for a paranoia too if the pressure gets too much. But this is going to be profound info if they first clear out Garden. They're going to say, okay, they're not going A. Bunker down the hatches on C, and Dez getting the jump peek as well means that Arthur knows it's green light go. Clear out any lurk players. And I mean, now that you know it, with an ult like that it's C.
And you're just trying to take these fights and win it out to force the rotate over to A site to get into that op, but no, that won't be the case. This game plan has the right idea for Dawn, but has not gone into fruition. Double Hunter's Fury available. Arthur in the back lines, good to remove. The opposing attacking Sova's ult for the post plant, not available now.
Oh, the gun barrel bait into Maddie is with the kill. Hunter's Fury, they try to pressure forward off of it, knowing a player is taken out of the duel. I know Arthur was on the flank, but Maddie was the question mark. They were still in garage or not. They're sticking it all the way. They're not going to be able to get it back to site in time. The setup, the post plan was perfection, and then the players just, they push in. They're too fixated on the Hunter's Fury and CT.
Really good game work from Arthur on an individual level. The fact that we see 10x waiting on default, start a round, watching every lane for someone like Arthur to push up and take these fights, give up, reroute, to execute, then Arthur pushes up afterwards to find information and maybe a fight, has been so good to allow Berserkers to just do whatever they want in the mid-round.
We gotta point out Maddie though as well, right? They didn't win that fight in the Cypher cage in garage. They never were able to have that extra player to stick.
Decoy.
But here we are once again talking about Arthur in the hot seat, side by side with their ISO. It's been these trap plays, but this time they realize, okay, let's deposit these players short. They like to fight. Let's wait for them to fight. While Spike instead prods towards B.
No way they try to go from B to A and have people sewers, right?
The pinch would be
Am I
insane.
over-engineering this?
Because they lost a player, I think now it is over-engineered. It's cooked. They had to commit to the B site, and Maddie is here! The timing, the spray down through the dark cover, not connecting. Now they have to worry about the potential omen and that paranoia to lull the pressure to confirm the plant and maybe even fight forward here, but it's the operator!
The op has existed for 4 rounds at least, and now it's only made its reveal at this moment. 2 left now for 10X.
They need to group up. They need to fight together, and they've decided to do so over towards A. But the singular footstep triggers a plethora of utility, right? The vulnerability, the paranoia, and May is the last to stand, the last to fall. 3 for Dez, who, again, started as a supporting player, steps forward into the spotlight to close out that round. Berserker's Dawn starting to snowball here.
And it's tough, too. An act like a timeout won't really fix what's going on with 10X. They have the right ideas. It's just the timing of the players on the defense swinging has been... And there's really no other word for it, Zoe. It's just been so unlucky for 10X.
Oh, for sure. You need to find a way to dismantle this deep A main hold, right? We saw that happen, I would say, in the last game, and Supercat was able to do that, right? I mean, I wouldn't say Supercat was able to do that. Princess Icy, right, was able to do that. Because at that point, not only they have information, but they know they're never going A. So they can stack these players with discipline over towards C. It's a sacrifice! Ah! It was a sacrifice. It was supposed to be worthy, and unfortunately,
It's drone!
no way!
What? No! I'm losing my marbles.
Sound like a cartoon character.
Professor
there, Keg.
K is retiring.
Oh,
Distraction.
well, you
I would time
retired.
out after that.
Dez steps forward. All right. That contract that pulls the player off the plant. In the meantime, stalls it. Gets the timer back active. Lover though now solo here after that loss.
Standing ahead.
1v2. They already used the paranoia. Now you know both players are on default. Try to set up the double swing. It looked like they don't commit to it just yet. There it is.
And they won?
That's what happens when trigger discipline goes south, Keg.
That's when you that's an evil Oppie moment.
They're gonna clip that and never let them live that down. I hope they.
I cannot believe
Like,
that.
poor Maddie. Like, Ira's gonna hold that over their head the entire time. They're like, you let me die for that? And then Arthur just frags out still, right? As that solo player left on the C site, but it still wasn't enough.
It's not even just that one player didn't face check that corner, right? It's not that the drone didn't face check that corner either. It's the fact that both did not. But at least
But then why
Resora was
did
there for the
Resora clear it?
follow.
Like you've had like multiple players that should have cleared that out, and they don't. Resora
Oh.
just doing it is just like, that's why Resora is on this team.
This is why Resora's the GOAT.
This is true. It's just fact. It's been fact checked, but this is what I mentioned prior, right? They have yet to dismantle this A hold. I want to see them dump utility. I want to see them oppress these players. Because even if Arthur TP is out, right? You had Dez holding up that mantle as well. This could be the proper timing now as well if they realize that the ISO and the Yoru lead that post to hit the A site. But look at what they do in the meantime. After they clear out A long, what do? They're clearing out C long.
Watch it
What?
happen. Oh, no, May. May, go back to that corner, please. Aw. Audio's been called about the rotate back, but
Oh, they could catch the Omen.
footsteps
No?
were heard, though.
That's what I was hoping they would do. Maybe we catch the Owen retreating down C long, but I feel like there's just a big question mark now for Tenax, right? They cleared out all day long. Like, yes, they could have refought it, which is why we're seeing now the ice on the re-peak short. But now that they haven't seen anything, they're like, okay, here are the
Okay.
footsteps.
Thank you,
No.
Oppie.
Spike down. C.
They're not making that mistake twice.
Order.
Okay,
Wow, my eyes are down.
on C. They rotate from the Omen as well, but again, it's Arthur here. Dimensional drift, so they're at least taking out the duel for now. Can't deny the spike plant.
planted.
But even that, now they know how many are on site. They know where they want to go. This is an interesting call, right? They love these more developed retake strats. They love the pinch plays. And Obvi, low HP, cannot deal with it.
Oh my. What a shot from Arthur. At this point, 10X, they're running out of options. They choose to push up in the C long. This is the right choice. You're not expecting it that you're a defender.
There's no way to stick
Resora,
again, right?
Good for 2, May. They double back
enemy
now.
remaining.
What does the utility look like? Resora falls, but you don't know about Garage. You have to check.
Yeah, you
May? Oh, I thought may have gotten the Omen in the back, but the answer is no. What a great call from 10X, even if it didn't amount to a win.
Wow. And while it wasn't as sneaky as the Maddie Ninja defuse when the players were pushing into CT off the Hunter's Fury, the same effect lingers, right? Like, they're okay with you fighting into CT there. That means you're off the site and they can scale up, they can get a player on the bomb. And trusting players like Arthur who are so stable. I mean, I don't even call 14-4 stable, it's explosive at this point on the Yoru.
Kurosu moment.
Well, this is a Yoru player though, not a Reina.
They both have flashes.
Sure. Alright.
Default again from 10X. Same setup once more from Berserker's side. There is a lot more pressure though on A. There's the Paranoia ISO rotate swing setup. It won't amount to much. It's back to B we go. There's not a lot of bolts for 10X to clear space. We could see maybe off this Thrifty a Hunter's Fury to push up in the B site. It would certainly be A play. There's no there's no Cypher utility to block out the A flank. That could be something Arthur could take advantage of. They've been very good about taking this space.
Oh, and I love this. As soon as they feel garage pressure, Ira just protocol, push down C long. And as a result, they're going to be able to find Mei here. And now that's the neural theft. Now that confirms, okay, are all the players C? No, there's a straggler in spawn. Now I'm going to deal with that if I'm Ira. And look, look, Arthur's also trying to deal with this straggler. And they all close in, and it only takes seconds, right? So you're not over-fixating for too long. You're not delaying your retake. And again, it's Next GC just coming to take the fight to you, and you deal with it. Player
Fights
after player.
Fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, fights after fights. Every which way you go. These re-clears from Dawn have been unbelievable. It's both of these teams are excelling so well, probably better than any other team in this tournament, at different facets of map control. And it's so impressive to see that there's no chance this doesn't go into overtime.
Last round before
I mean,
the
7-4 here. I think, like, to Next GC, they just, like... They feel very passive, like hoping that Berserker's Dawn will give them these fights that they'll overheat, and they never do, right? And then once they actually get a plant down is when they do get aggressive, right? And it's so interesting to see that dichotomy at work, because I think that's why they're staring down now at disadvantage half, even if they win this round. But I think it's going to work out really well for them on the defense, as long as they don't get that kind of like over-aggressive tendency where like they peek out too much. I think Berserker's Dawn will be ready to deal with that as well, but... Back to basics. This time I said it. I wanted them to find a way to puncture through A-long. The answer hopefully is obvious with the blades or a Bucky. And it is.
Arthur. Being gone is such a huge opener for 10X. They have a lot of ults available here to reclaim A space. Rolling Thunder, for example, is huge. Des has a lot to worry about. They were the meat of the sandwich and have 2 players left alive. No Yoru to worry about. Taking odd space. A 4v now 5, excuse me, now 1. Leaves Ira the last one left.
Hoping a player would push the dark cover. Shorty out. Now with the rotation here. Into last round, you go for it regardless. Do you expect 2 players on the elevated position with their own double swing? No. And if the last Haven we casted, Keg, was a matter of thrifties, this one's a matter of flawlesses, right? That was 2 back-to-back ones from opposing teams. It ends us with a 7-5 half. And this is a lot different than a 9-3, right? Like, you win a pistol, you're right back into the action if you're to Next GC. As long as you don't get thrifted map 2. Or, sorry, round 2.
I mean, my question is, how is Arthur going to play this attack? Are they going to be the entry flashes? Or are they just going to lurk and do whatever they want? Like, will them and
Ira's going to be the lurker. Ira's, I can see it now.
Yeah, but the way Arthur's been playing has just been so... not unconventional, so Yoru-like, right? So whatever you want to do when the round feels like it, that Arthur could definitely take that mantle some rounds, and it's just another mental point 10X have to keep an eye on. They can't really stray too far from a point, because they always have to worry about Arthur's positioning.
It's not that I don't think Arthur could pull off the lurk player, it's that I think they need a stable entry player, right? Like, your ISO's not... Your ISO's not enough for that in my mind. Not only just because Dez is having a slower start, but I think on this map an ISO isn't enough, right? And I think like it was their mastery side by side that was holding the same main space. And even now, look, they're tied at the hip, right? And that's what I think is working for this team.
Yeah, but Arthur has no flashes either. The entry ability has to come down to Dez's utility.
Arthur go kill.
Yeah.
Or
It's
Ira
just-
lurk and get a kill.
That's true. Something's gotta give here. And Sova drone's out to clear out sewers. Backside control, 10x, hanging on to A by a thread. It's just up to Dawn to make a move, and it starts with Ira. Making noise, the paranoia in return.
Wow.
Utility used up, and it's a reset now from Dawn.
There's 30
30
seconds
seconds.
left.
30 seconds left.
This is the
Thanks, knock on
last. Got you with my desk. That's the last thing I expected from this squad, was to be too passive, to have the enemy be their clock. That's exactly what's happened. They think they have the seaside, but Abe can just fight through it into default with these cages, hopefully when the plant gets pinged. No?
Oh,
Spike planted.
one.
get plant?
That's two, Wave.
Okay. Shut down, but I mean, numbers, plenty. Oh my gosh. Dez, I'm sorry I called you out. You're in a 1v2 clutch. Can you do it? 20 HP. The players side by side, but one on that brink of death. It doesn't matter. May has their own agenda, their own three-piece. You can actually see, I said it, you get your pistol, and you got the follow-up, and we're going to be tied. And your OT prediction could come true, Keg.
Yeah, it very well could. I mean, I think this is how Berserkers are going to keep approaching these early rounds. They are just going to place different pieces all around. It is a chessboard against someone who does not know chess. They just put pieces wherever they want, and you're still forced to abide the rules and figure out how to play around it. That's what Arthur's job is.
I thought you were gonna say, like, for me, a person that doesn't know how to play chess, like, might know how the pieces are supposed to move, but then they have, like, lack of board awareness, and then those players can slip through the cracks. And I think that's what Berserker's Dawn needs, right? Like you mentioned from Arthur, from Ira.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Ira was prodding the B-side entire time, right? They wanted their Ave moment where they slip in undetected, and Snax just wasn't having it. And even when they slipped in through Garage, right? Like, Ave was prepared on the C-site. That's the anchor we've wanted this whole day, and we finally got it.
You know what a better metaphor would be? It's if Berserkers Dawn are playing chess where they don't have rules. And that's really Arthur's game plan. You just do whatever you want, force 10x to react off of you, use my clones to break utility. We've seen how very fast May's out to use smokes and paranoias. It's less things that Berserkers have to worry about once they hopefully get to sight.
Well, again, it's this slow approach, and this time it's warranted, right? You know you don't have weapons. You're gonna wait for a mistake and lock down on it, but heading towards the safe side, walking. I want to say that Oppie saw, like, the little shoes of Dez, and that aftershock confirms it. Pushes them into Evil Oppie, not with an op, but with an sniper rifle nonetheless. The Outlaw here, dodging because of the smoke, but they're flashed. Doesn't matter. They got the reloads, they had one bullet left, but they want the security of both. They want the 2 out of the 3 kills, now the 2 out of the 2 kills, but Rizora gonna get the pinch, and there it is. They complete the picture, and what do you know? Another flawless.
You could not have asked for a better round from 10x. Again, just the sheer patience of allowing Berserkers to play however they want early on, but really sticking to the objectives and playing to shut down a lot of the different lanes right at the choke point that Berserkers could make a move on.
And I expected that from Tanax GC, but in my mind, it's just Berserker's Dawn playing a lot, like, slower than I expected them to. And again, it's a pistol, it's an anti-eco. You're not expecting them to necessarily, but this round, now that they have weapons in hand, and they know they have better weapons in hands, that's where I need to see that confidence revitalized. The same confidence they used when taking a main space round after round of the defense, and does seem to be the case here with this duelist duo I talk about. Taking a space, looking for a kill, but Oppie with the Outlaw is still heaven here, or I should say hell. They've been dragged down. They get the first ping onto Arthur, which is, again, they're only saving grace to calm to their team, but that's already done and dusted.
Reset after that opening pick, too. No follow-up off of it. Very little utility expended from Berserker's side. I like the push-up from May outside this B wall. Trip still available, too. Audio would be heard, including this drone, towards Seaside about what the execute might be. Dez! Oh! Unlucky, but still made it work.
Okay. Ave, you've anchored it before. You did it on the pistol. Can you do it again? You've dodged the recon bolt. Ryuto's been destroyed. You shot the clone. You've given away the game. You know where you are. The double swing
30
secured.
seconds left.
So is the kill. It's all down to Rizora.
Spike planted.
It's only a Spectre in hand. We've seen some nasty run and gun action. Can it start out with Dez? I think this is good. The flashpoint connects. They don't get around the corner. Now you're gonna hope for a weapon upgrade, and there it is. But you're pinched between a player window you don't even know about, and you're paranoid from Garage. Of course, it was Arthur, too. You talked about it. Not only are they entering, but now they're also becoming that lurk factor. Just to tie up loose ends.
It's really just Arthur is allowed to do whatever they want. Yoru is unbelievable on 3-site maps. Actually, no. I was about to say we don't see Yoru very often on Lotus. I think in Kickoff, we've been seeing a ton of Yoru to be like anti-Vice. Yoru is going to be meta on every single map by like 20, 28.
Yeah. Here we go. 8-7. Rifles on both sides. Another pivotal round here. And the ISO, Dez has their a kill contract online. Ooh, again, also Oppie's been kind of taken out of the duel. This time, not fully, with the opening frag not going their way. It's gonna be hard to retake no matter what.
Time to push up here with the drone. Brought out very early on means this drone won't find a lot of information top of sight. A smoke is already out, and it barely saw that down left corner of site itself. Contingency. Kill contract to allow the execute. You really want to get Rizora here. If you're Dez. No. Got the Cypher. That's okay. That does
Okay,
take...
Arthur got the breach. Okay. Oh, and your teammates have got the trade regardless, so gets the job done eventually. I like how they used the cages to supplement this plan as well, to buy that extra delay time. And now, I mean, talk about it, plant goes down. Arthur says, my job is done. Now I make space the old-fashioned way. Just push up, do the damage where I can. Maddie with the fake, trying to flush out util. Oppie on the flank. I said you had low HP. This is one way to get a kill, especially when your opponent's in their camera for the split second. Now, 3-on-3. There's a chance, and it's starting to slip away.
Slipping away, a very good point. May fakes the TP, but there's no
play
chance
for
of getting
exits.
back in.
Yeah, at this point, you're trying to crowd these players and let them die to the spike. But even then, Oppie, low HP, didn't want to get traded here. Yep. Oh, does Arthur save their weapon? Yes, they do.
9-7, still holding on. Berserkers taking their sweet time early round. Has worked out unbelievably. Penax inching closer and closer potentially to losing map 1. May want to consider a timeout after this next buy cycle.
True. We'll see if the GC digs hit, though, because, again, we ask for timeouts. We usually get thrifties, and then they throw that comment back in our face. But this round, even though they understand that they don't have a buy, Berserker's done showing respect, getting ready to invest their own ultimates, likely because the Blade Storm's getting popped as well by Oppie. Here we go, Dimensional Drift, the exec on a C. They're gonna realize that the gamble stack was away from this site. Not even a speck of Cypher utility is present. Arthur, I would stay deep CT at this point. You only spotted one player. Instead, this is what I love from them. They aren't the overheat style of duelists, but look at this. Talked about who would be the lurk player. Ira, does this corner get cleared? They go for the first, they don't trigger discipline onto the second, but they're confident they can win the duel anyways. Swing connects, and even though you're low HP, Brazora can get this gun. Ooh.
Oh, huge. Alleviate some more pressure. Defense down by one player. Separated out though. Setting up for Hunter's Fury. There's only 3 on site, but again, look at the weaponry. It's just sheriffs. Recombo, information, any advantage is possible. 2 are scanned, but no follow-up. It's impossible.
Yeah, that was rough, because Brazora gets the 1 kill that's so deep sea they can't get the gun upgrade. They take a few down with them, but again, it was just the gamble stat going the wrong way. Didn't rotate to C long enough, and they didn't have any utility. And at that point, the Dimensional Drift has cleared out all of that space. Okay. Again, but that was Nico. You talked about wanting a timeout. It would have happened here in my mind, because the next Econ cycle, it's Berserkers on map point. But I think they have enough ultimates here, and they have an idea of what they can do with them in terms of the Rolling Thunder to win this. Because again, they've been playing just... This is like the most basic of Haven comps, right? That you get.
Yeah.
They've been playing it
really
how it's
nothing
supposed to be
wild.
played. It's just, again, the creativity of Berserkers, kind of mismatch of pacings as well, has been a major issue.
Direct utility to have stopping power for Arthur on site. Still good for the clone for the re-clear. A wall is out. The double entry, double duelists. Works out well. A crash towards the back just in case. Allows
Wait,
Arthur
they
to
know.
dance with the overheat. Rolling Thunder. Rachel. Izora. Bjorn's good for one. It's used so early. But again, the recall's been made. It sets up enough time for 10x
Going
to make
Thunder.
their move. The collapse onto the site. Rizora's good for one off of the aftershock. But still, the ult's not available. Rizora holds on. Does not need it just yet. And it's a complete collapse. 10x get to hold on to this pivotal ult for the next round.
That was nice. I think that's what they were hoping for on like the eco round where they can try and play retake in numbers, and it was just the fact that they couldn't get the C pinch because Oppie gets dealt with by the lurking Ira. So what do? They all focus on flooding back in from CT off of the Hunter's Fury, and it just happened to work out, right, that the two players were pushing up into CT, right? That duelist duo we've talked about of Des and Arthur. And even for a second, right, you saw May about to pop Paranoia CT as well because they expected players up close, but they thought better of it. And I liked, again, that call not to use the Rolling Thunder because, again, there were util kills left and right? Bjorn, Sova ult, the Aftershock kill, it all set them up to just clutch it normally.
2 rounds of a difference. Berserker's Dawn looking very comfortable on this attacking side. Default out now. Cypher lurks. Always a thing on this map. Just a matter of whether or not enough pressure from Ira can be mounted and dueling the opposite Cypher to break the trip. The answer is no. Rizora is in a great spot to follow up off of a stun. Make Berserker's second guess if there will be a swing. The answer is no. The Yoru utility has broken this imaginary divided line.
Okay. Little sight smoke action here as well. They fight through it, interestingly enough. They expected maybe a heavy short play off of that, but all that did was flush out some utility from the Tenax side, so I do not hate it. Maybe it was supposed to be a smoke that also sells the fake, so they wouldn't stay on the A site. But unfortunately, as the split comes back into fruition, players never left. The reclear missed time with the actual exec here. As a result, they have to expend. They have to let the ripcord go of the Rolling Thunder just to hold on to the site control. With 30 seconds left, they realize, okay, this has to be a commit here. Real quicker decision to rotate. And Ira being dealt with means they have to try and commit.
Oh no, a play for the delay. Trying to get Ira into a better spot. Had the TP to allow the cross rotate for the Sniper to get more kills. Neither one of which worked. And now it's a race
Stick.
across the world for Lover. Yeah, of course, Stick. What
You
else?
smoke?
You don't have anything to worry about. Lover
Wait.
makes it in time,
Cage.
but steps right into a bullet.
Cage was up to protect. Now they get to choose, or they dish out that ult orb too for this comeback as well. Again, another flawless on the board. What are we at? Like 5 this game, I think?
I have lost track.
Something of that nature, but at its core, it was again the fact that the clock was the enemy of Berserker's Dawn. We go back to that pistol, and yes, the Omen ultimate from the shadows was a nice bailout, but there weren't enough players alive. Again, we talk about how there was that miscomm right, or the retake that one round on the defensive half with the dimensional drift. It felt like there may be a miscomm in the last 30 seconds of, okay, are we committing here? Are we ulting over? And like half the team committed while half was getting ready for the C rotate with that Omen ult.
It was
And so-
really just a play off of Ira's lurking, just getting taken out at such an unlucky time. Early wall, procced out against Evil Oppie. Not gonna stop Evil Oppie. That's the
Your
devil
smokes?
right there.
Smokes are gone as well, so this makes it even harder to hit a site here when you only have that site smoke down, no heaven, no CT. But again, the players fighting a little bit too hard and can't let go when it matters. 2 players fall. It's left to Rizora to pick up the slack. They have definitely tightened the leash here into a 3-on-3. Ira, we talked about these lurks setting things up, and they are headed towards C.
The C trip was broken just as May was rotating to A side, caught it just in time and stuck around. Berserker's Dawn, they have not cleared out Garage and don't know about this May's presence up until the shots were fired. Now there's an idea.
Cam?
Cyber cage out. The camera is still available. You're absolutely right. Neural theft on
planted.
top. If any player oversteps from the defense, that will be the neural theft
doing
brought
it!
out. Oh no. Oh. Dangerous game, Ira. Dangerous game. The scam, the paranoia on top. The reflood back in. That's dead. It's Gagger.
Wow.
Razora's good for 3 to save the day and bring things to an even game.
Yeah, Rizora takes the cake on the 3 kill, but I think the true star was that spy cam, right? Keeping it that late, seeing that CT push up. If you didn't have that, you wouldn't have known to dumble that utility and you would have been running face to face with a brick wall. And I mean, credit to Ira, right? It was a good idea. You mentioned it. Neural Thefts Online, they wanted to be the judge, jury, and executioner, delivering the kill and the information their team needed for the clutch. But now it's turned against them. Now we're tied 10-10. Now you've even forced your coach to take a timeout and get their own word in because they did not like what they saw.
Bagel Bernie, North America is such a fire name. What will Bagel Bernie?
What
tell
kind of
Berserkers
bagel
Dawn?
would Bernie eat?
Ooh. You know what, I can tell you, it's gonna be lox with capers, a New York style bagel.
Okay. I'm gonna go with just my little everything bagels, you know?
I mean, I feel like everything bagel has like capers and lox too, right?
A little bit, yeah. Depends on how fancy it
It
is.
has cream cheese though. I used to
Not
love
all the
cream
time.
cheese. No, that's good because I can't have it anymore.
I like putting like the egg bites on it, you know, making a little sandwich.
Oh, I don't think I've had that before.
It's
That
good.
sounds
Try
good.
it.
That sounds really good.
But we have no time for breakfast, alas. Maybe the most important meal of the day, but this might be the most important time out for Berserkers Dawn if they want to turn things around. And this is a good time to point out as well, this is Tanax's map pick, so Berserkers are doing a good job of the prospect of stealing away their opponent's pick.
Yoru ult is available from Arthur. Most definitely should be an entry option into this round. Neural Theft should secure at least the opening pick with those two ults combined and find maximum information.
Ooh!
Oh, but Dez, a very risky swing. Obby takes a lick of damage, but nothing to really write home about. Everybody else from Dawn is defaulting to an extent. They've ignored mid and left the spike. Expectation here should be to find the pick and rotate into that weaker section.
And these players short are fighting for the time and fighting for the trade. Bjorn secures it. Definitely gutsy trying to play it out before the aftershock was available. But spikes still spawn. Again, they're depending on these players to find opening elsewhere on the map. Fortunately, they just make some noise, hopefully draw some numbers out. But again, Tanax has found success on the C retake, so they're happy to give up the space to play this spy cam like they did the last time. And let's see if Berserkers don't learn their lesson and know to destroy it.
I mean, usually it's the flash off of Arthur that's been good to destroy these defensive cams. Cleared out garage, nothing found there. Aggressive gate crash, maybe, but signals have been found at the very least. May's just sitting and waiting at this point.
They still have that
4v4.
cam.
Spike planted.
I know. Surely this time it gets destroyed, right?
I don't think before it finds the impact it needs that there's 3 on site. 1 away. There it was, popped. They haven't destroyed it. Now they know where the ISO should be. They know there's a player solo CT as well. Oh, we needed to have Bjorn win that, but because they lose, it's down to the 2v4. And I mean, the players are not getting surrounded, right? You have this deep set lurk from Maddie as well. There's no way they expect this. The paranoia as well, just to lay sight even if they do fall, but they're not going to.
Whew. Great double kill at the end from Maddie. 11-10. Berserkers Dawn taking their time, utilizing these opening pick advantages and how big Haven can be to reset. Bring it back to C site. This has been the weaker site for 10x. Wouldn't be surprised now Evil Oppie sets up the Evil Oppie on back C site. That means there's less bodies on A though. That has to be
This is
all
true.
down to Rezora's. No, not the flash. I'm sorry, not the stun push again.
Yeah. I think you need to fake that presence, right? Dump the aftershock, dump the shocks. Just so they don't expect it. Yeah. They wanted to think that Oppie was fighting here with the squad and funnel them towards the seaside because that's always been their endpoint. But I think that's what was pointed out during the timeout, right? Was okay, they're fighting this very basically. They're playing a classic Haven composition. They're always fighting a main, and you know what we're masters of? You know what we did on the defense? We took that space and never let go. As a result, that's what they do. The confirmation comes off of that Neural Theft that they vacated the A side, but they know they're set up for a retake here, so they're a little wary, not fully committed, not fully sold. They're hoping Arthur can find a kill before the plant gets secured.
Remember,
Or they're gonna go C.
Berserkers don't know about Evil Oppie's op. They're gonna rotate into C and not be aware that there's an Elo stick on the other side. But they're making a lot of noise. They're faking the rotate to C to head back over to A. Arthur is still there. Never left.
I love
Sora.
this.
is aware of the plan, at least to an extent, and wants to keep that presence on A.
Mm?
Oh, Cypher
Oh.
Cam. Someone's nearby.
30 seconds left.
No, Ira.
I thought they
Again.
saw Lyra.
Remaining hidden. They should have, but they didn't.
They don't go
follow
for
up.
B? They go
Down a
back to the
player.
site?
Op still in hand. That's essentially a 3v5 for the retake.
Oh.
2v5. Oh, never mind, Evil Oppie. In the server, what the op with a
What?
retake on A? Oh, sure. Why not?
Standing.
Okay, all right. Ira's the last one left. Cyber cage available. What do
Jaw.
you do here? Not much.
Jaw dropped the entirety of that round, right? The mind games upon mind games, right? We talked about how that neural theft shows no one's on A, shows that Tanax is set up for the retake. So what do? They don't commit to the A side. They leave Arthur and fake the C rotate like you pointed out. What does that do? That draws off the retake potential here for Tanax GC. But it doesn't matter. They just respect the site take and retake. And I mean, usually you're like, okay, it's a double-edged sword with the operator because then your duelist can't retake with you. Oppie says, I can do both. Finds two and even dives in with Razora to bait themselves into that additional kills.
Here.
Like, 11-11 here. It's insane. And the op still is on the C site. They're still having this double initiator fake the A presence. And you still have, look, Arthur challenging it because they're confident in their duels at this part of the map.
That's right, and they've noticed that there's been a big lurk up C long from a lot of teams recently. Early smoke from Berserkers, top of C. Now that the op is most definitely known too, it makes it even better. That smoke puts doubt in the mind of Ira. There could have been the Cypher lurk up into Cubby.
But the reclear. Oppie.
No, they could stay hidden. We've seen how long Ira's willing to wait.
You need an award for this timing, I swear. It's been multiple times by like pixels they're missed. They know it's C then.
Smoke number 2. That's a defensive smoke this time.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That's
Uh-oh.
bad. Okay, Paranoia bails him out. And the shot through the smoke is just additional damage done. Now they have the blades online, but they're not gonna need them. Shot after shot, the players are falling. And again, it all came down to a spy cam. Oppie on for the ace at this point. Pop the blades, get your,
30 seconds left.
I would say TikTok clip, but
Oh.
all right.
Oh.
2v5. Shh.
Oh.
They're saving.
Well, they're saving them more on the loss of TikTok.
Ooh. All right. And the timer ticks away. They're gonna have to
10
fight
seconds
for
left.
overtime. Wow. What a play from Oppie, right? We talked about how the milliseconds tick by. They miss the fact that Ira is left side main. And then somehow the spy cam gets deployed and they realize, okay, wait, this might be more than a lurk, and the shots connect
Match
through the
point.
smoke. Not one, but two. And then the pixel angle on the star player, Arthur, as well. Like, we were robbed of our 30 bomb from Princess Icy. Can we get one from Oppie?
It was also really unlucky for Berserker's Dawn too, because often on C they split push where they have presence in garage on top of what they were doing C long. Not quite the case that time. A little rushed. Didn't clear garage.
Okay,
That would have been
let's
something to
get
deal with much after getting on the site, but no. Yeah, just who would have thought someone named Evil Oppie would play against all conventional rules of the op play on defense?
Speaking of defense and unconvention, pushing down grass when you least expect it. They have not done it one round. Unfortunately, they don't pop the tailwind to get out. They are that confident. And Lover follows it up, a stinger kill. That's like a gift bestowed here to at least make things a 4-on-4, especially when you lost that lurk player Ira, who's been pivotal in getting late round rotations. And what is this?
Losing
Giving
your
a
top
gun to
fragging-
Sova?
they're trading around. It's like Pokemon cards. Losing your top fragger to a lurking Ira it's a pretty decent even trade, but now it does enable a lot more flank potential. That's why ISO, Daz is still waiting down sewers for the aggressive push up A. Yeah, A long is not going to be noted, but it does create space for Dawn to work with. And nobody on 10-ax is pushing up off the death of this Cypher. Everyone's playing so close up for a retake.
I loved at the start of the half we were like, okay, Arthur could be a lurk player. Nah, Dez was the
30
one,
seconds
A short, solo, listening for any ounce of utility or information. Didn't hear anything, right? And that's like kind of was like a no evidence fallacy that no one was present, but we've seen this before. Rizora plays off site, plays for the retake, and here it comes.
Planted.
One off
Plant
one
goes
thunder.
down. Procedure in play, yeah. Flush out heaven, spray it down. Hope you can get a kill off of this. The Hunter's Fury is timed perfectly to counter it. What? Doesn't matter.
Hunter's Fury. Arthur, an escape option. Dimensional drift will reset positioning.
Scanning
This
ahead.
is good. One player left now. 10x. They could close this out right now. Recon bolt available.
Scanning
No
ahead.
tradability off of
Found
these
them.
players. Oh no. Not aware of the Soba's presence though.
Oh, they bought the bluff for this.
One.
Oh, and the trade from Lover. 3 kills, and we are headed to overtime.
Switching sides.
Wow. I really thought that for a second that the effects of the Hunter's Fury were going to be neutralized there on the fight CT. The skills were still going the way of Tenax. And then, of course, Arthur from Hell gets the impact that squad needs. And even if they can't get the final kill in the clutch, they inadvertently set up a 180 requirement there for the true to life clutch, and Lover closes things out. And Tenax GC immediately are saying, let's stop that momentum, let's get our feet back under us and win our map pick.
Both players again, even when we were on the OG side of this first half of the map, wanted to show that both teams excelled in taking different spaces at different times, but just never in unison. And allowed a lot of flip-floppy maps to bring us, rounds, excuse me, to bring us to overtime. Yeah, very much a needed timeout here from 10x. They have the right ideas, but as you mentioned, much more conventional composition from 10x's side. There's not as many raw tricks they can bring out compared to, say, bringing out a Yoru or an ISO, where they can change what they do every round.
All right. Lover, maybe some issues connecting, waiting to see. Not having a buy yet on a T is a little... There we go. All right. Aside from that... Again, I want to say that timeout was more just a breather, right? I think from Tenax, I'm trying to think about what happened that first half, right? You know that A main was a consistent haven, no pun intended, for Berserker's Dawn. It was hard for them to fight and break through it other than that one round where Oppie just went nuclear with the blades. So what do? You default, you maybe go fast B if you destroy that utility. You know Maddie's solo here, right? Maddie popped off once, they're gonna pop off again.
A good start. Jet dash through. This is just Evil Oppie popping off. Evil Oppie's like, ah, the chains are loose! Breaking free!
And I love that they don't even deal with the players on B. They're like, okay, I'll deal with Maddie later. They inadvertently dodge the bullet of Des as well. So they think they have deep control here, but then they're gonna have to re-clear it out late as well. The drone, I think they spun out. They do. They know once grass. Can they deal with it though? The utility misaligns. And now Rizora can go back to fighting CT. Maybe even facilitate Oppie with a flash of the sun. Nope,
No
they're
way.
sent to the grave.
Oppie. Oh my. No way.
Maze
Kind of
on
a
an island?
throw. Just to let
Last
your
player
teammates
standing.
die there, Oppie. Couldn't find much. That was such a great attacking round from 10x until Oppie did not follow through with the calls being made garage.
It was just a lack of information, right? They started losing track of where these players were, right? Like, you knew Maddie was on the back of B, but that was it, right? I think that fast rotation from A to resupplement B, because they were so heavily fighting through that site and ending C, is what just threw chaos into the wind, and it did not work out. And I mean, if you think about it, right, that just evens things up, right? Oppie, you know, not getting some kills, playing passive, gets a throw. The one quarter trigger discipline that was there also was a throw for Berserker's Dawn, so we're back to square one at the worst time possible for Tenax GC, because now it's Berserker's Dawn, map point on your pick. And they're about to deathball into C, something they have never essentially done on their attack half.
Well, the times they did, they met the hands of an op through the smoke.
Yeah, but that wasn't from the get-go, right? They set the seeds of doubt. Hey, they're doing this like just point-blank barrier drop. And it's working. They're gonna have to play full retake again. They don't break the spy cam again, though, guys. Come on, you know it's there. It's been 3 rounds.
Planted.
Okay, now it's broken. May could go for the widest swing. No. Maybe no demand. Ira's still hidden away. They know the Cypher likes to lurk away. Such a close-up clear and the attacker falls. This
What
is a good
info.
start. Good start. Lover, backside control, an extension above the C stairs into the back of side could be good. Evil Obby again doesn't even need the op. That's 4, shutting them down. We're going the double OT.
Oh, very, very nicely done. I talked about lessons learned, right? And which one could remember more about the opposing team, right? Berserker's on what? You get a spy cam destroyed. Next GC, they get to clear out Ira, who's always been catastrophic in either these pinch flank plays or in the late round garage presence. And they do it so quick, too, right? There was 4 players grass, right? 2 from B, 2 from garage. They deal with Ira and go about their day on the retake. And I think there was an ounce of hesitancy as well from Berserker's Dawn. You saw Des about to fight into CT, and then they don't, and they stay sight. Look at that, Oppie. We got our 30 bomb.
10 whole kills above anybody else. The same could essentially be said for both sides. Arthur's also been popping off. Minor default in play now. Oppie once again W key.
Ooh.
At least for the start outside A long.
Ooh.
Oh, can't quite find that miraculous shot that May, I believe, did way back a few rounds ago. Oppie stopped in their tracks. This could end up being a good thing. Oppie was so disconnected last attacking round that there was a lot of follow-up potential. Again, like you said, off of lack of communication or information that was never applied. This time, that should not be an issue. Pushed up, a fight, damage done against Lover. Des. A triple swing. And yet even then, Evil Oppie by themselves, barely hit by the shock bolt.
They should have stayed.
Oppie gone. Mechanic. And it's a caravan back to C site. The Cypher cam, this time so far placed up in the C long. Might be a little bit more hidden this time.
I felt like the decision, I loved the call to fight A long, right? But they didn't follow through. Wary that they didn't find a kill. Wary it was still a 5-on-5. And now they're looking down at an even worse prospect, right? Holding on to the C site in a post plant in a numbers disadvantage, right? Silver lining, no spy cam, I would say, for that information. Unlike when Max would be retaking the site. But again, the number is difficult. They want to fight into CT. This could be really good or really bad. Seems to be the former. Oh, well, no, it's 50-50.
It's a battle of who can win an attacking round.
Aw.
I'm sure it'll happen at some point. But honestly, at this point, if I'm Oppie, I'm playing an op on C. Like, you need something to make sure any attacking team cannot push this.
Switching sides. Match point.
All right. There it is. Last time out for overtime from Berserker's Dawn. Both teams utilizing it, knowing the importance of Haven. No, I said it was going to be 2-0, and it seems like both of these teams also believe it. Oh. I mean, they don't want to go to a triple overtime. We'll put it that way. And at this point, you said it, attack half is the one you need to win, so it makes sense for Berserker's Dawn to be the one to take it now. And I think, like, obviously right now they're leaning a little bit towards the C side. The question is, do they commit to that? And if they do, then are they trying to change something in the post plant, right? Because they're getting C, right? It's being pretty much respected from Tanax GC, right? They're giving up that space. Both teams have had a really heavy, like, A lean, like they want to keep A long control. And aside from that, everything else is free reign.
And Berserkers have been much more willing to rotate and go for much more hidden plays than Tenax. Tenax have pretty much resorted on this defense to play very retake heavy. Give up the site, keep the numbers available, hope to take the mass fights at the very end of the round. Berserkers, they could absolutely fake C here and end up on A or B site for that final point. Just a matter of how they can play these early parts of a round and really whether or not they can secure an opening pick quickly.
All right. Everything pretty standard here, right? On the A take. And this feels like it might be a C exec fake here to draw the players over towards C since they know they like to set up for this post plant, right? Spike's still in spawn. Players still just waiting for that Prowsher to mount out. They're kind of expecting that kind of grass take to clear out Ira that did happen a few rounds prior and probably doesn't seem like it's going to happen again.
Oh,
They realize it's a fake.
Arthur's trying to put down all this audio. Oppie's taking the fight. Gate crash is available for the escape plan, so Arthur can join the rest of the squad back on A site. This is it.
They know.
Timing is everything. But you're right. Cerebral, 10x, aware, A site, the rotate. Still holding on to C garage too, just in case this could be another reset into a rotate C site. It looks like now everything's set up for the AXX. This is now or never.
Wow, and somehow the players don't line up. The flash doesn't connect, the site smoke working against them. The trades are good left, right, and center, but it's all down to Lover. And they are stunned, they are trapped, they are aftershocked and all. Site smoke again, the crux of this round, and they double swing into the remaining players of Tanax, and we are still sitting upon the truth that neither team can win an attack round. And I liked what Berserker's Dawn was going for, right, Keg? We talked about it. They wanted to sell the CFIC. They wanted to free up A-Long, which we talked about has been a steel trap for both of these teams. And unfortunately, it just wasn't strong enough of a sell. And also, you know, the players mid, nobody pushed out there from Tanax either, like they had in previous rounds when they knew it was a committed CXX. So they hoped there were mistakes that were there on the Tanax side that just weren't. And now it's the question of, okay, can Tanax clean up their CXX, right? It was so close that they are willing to risk it again. And here they go. And it's going to be gifted, granted by Berserker's Dawn. Yet again, it's going to come down to possibly a 5-on-5 retake to decide if a team can get an attack half.
Minute 20 left on the clock now. If anything, Evil Oppie just hasn't been evil enough. We need to see evil
Oh, they almost
or
had 40
Oppie.
kills. What do you want from them?
Evil or Oppie. Get 50.
Diabolical.
Diabolical Oppie. It's all possible here. Ira's been spotted. That was supposed to be the ace in the hole for Berserker's Dawn. Not a possibility. The smoke severed. What's left of Tanax, all 5 players from C-Long and site itself. They crash spotted now by May. Flash into the
Oh my
TP.
God,
That's
they break
one.
it!
That's Arthur. The top frag of the other side. Good for it. That's another meltdown. Stop going C-site. It is just a defensive haven. And once more, another flawless retake in OT.
Helping me take out the trash. Out of charges. Out of
Keg,
charges.
what's sad about that
Match point.
is that May shot the gate crash. And I don't know if they just didn't do enough damage to it or if it was the TP as it was breaking, but if Arthur doesn't TP flash there and May survives, they fight all those players incoming CT. Maybe they get in a paranoia, and they probably would have survived that C post plant, but again, it all comes down to Arthur, who now is also setting upon the precipice of 30 kills alongside their enemy, Diabolical Oppie, locking in here. And again, look, this is similar to what Snax did on their attack. They wanted to lock down, they wanted to counter this A-Long control, and unfortunately, Bjorn says, nah, I got this. And now look at this, the flash out, the corner to the dodge, they flash themselves and have to retreat, and they're still dead.
Well, we're eyeing 15-15 for map 1 of this series now. Do you think it goes 17-17?
You just want us to be trapped in purgatory, Keg. Talked about
Yeah.
signing deals with the devil while we're trapped as an aftermath.
Well, let me tell you.
I don't even know what the Radiant Academy record is for matches.
This is the longest class ever.
Well, final exam, over 100 questions. Is there a way that Berserker's Dawn wins this round, Keg?
No? No, I don't see
You heard
the
it here
vision
first, folks.
Oh, okay, hold on. Lever did open things up a little bit. Lever would have to get another kill here,
30
especially on
seconds
Oppie, to maybe open things up. Rizora, though, so much utility off of this breach. I find it hard to believe.
The flash is late.
Okay, okay. The
Got
flash
the first
was
kill.
late. That's a 3v3. Suddenly, this is a lot more winnable now. Back on the site yet again. Flood retake. Rizora's good for 1, 50-50. Ira gets 3. Never mind.
I hate visiting underground doctors.
You know, Keg, you sometimes as a caster get these rogue thoughts, these threads, and you're like, okay, is there a way they win the 3v5? And somehow they do. You laid it out, you're like, if they find the frag on Oppie, they get the site control, maybe? And then Ira, right? The player that's found the most impact the entire map from playing off-site, from playing off-map, gets that kill streak from on-site hell.
Sure.
Like, that is the last player you expect to be able to clutch it up in that fashion for this squad. 30 rounds, 16-14. Snax GC loses their map pick to Berserker's Dawn.
And you know what? That's map 1 of potentially 3.
No.
Hey, look, we you know
I
what?
don't
We
hear
can
it.
go
I
the
don't
full
hear it.
You know what? That's fine, because you know what you can hear? I know how to pierce beyond this.
Okay.
I'm gonna go take a break. I'm going to Radiant.store and I'm gonna go get some merch because I need to do something to get my life back together. So don't go anywhere. Come join me at the Radiant.store. That is Radiant.store to get this awesome merch to keep these kinds of events going. And we're gonna take a small break because we need it. And we'll be back for map 2.
And welcome back. You thought that after that section of the test lasting over 100 questions or 30 rounds, you would be done, but we may have 1 or 2 more sections depending on the next score you achieve as players in this lobby. Berserkers Dawn versus Snax GC. The quarterfinals of Radiant Academy 108 is underway. Keg, it was a nail biter. Both teams so similar with these varying compositions, and it truly came down to, say the wire, but it came down to Ira.
It really felt like those complicated multiple choice questions. There could be many answers, but you still have to choose one, and in overtime, it really felt like everyone was choosing the second best option rather than the first. Luckily though, we go from a 3-site map where there's just so many complexities to probably the most complex 2-site map in the game. It's deceptively complicated, that being split.
Oh, yes. We've not gotten to see Split today, and I'm hoping that means we'll get to see a Tejo in the mix, but there's the crux of this issue, right? We called whoever won Haven, it could be a 2-0, and this is heading into Berserker Dawn's map pick as well. So, whew, will we see a Tejo? Will we see more creative duelist picks? We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I really think it's up in the air right now about what we're going to see. If it's anything like Haven, I think 10X might still try to go for a more conventional composition. But if anything, too, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Berserker's Dawn have just gone for whatever they've wanted. So I feel like if I'm in 10X's shoes, I'm probably going to be a little bit more loose with my compositions. I feel like Mr. Bernie Bagel NA might have some things up his sleeve. So I'm fully expecting to see just wildness from both sides, Obi.
We'll have to, like I said, wait and see as we get ready to jump into the game. I do believe that for this squad, I'm trying to figure out if either of these teams have previously played a Split or not, because again, that's the only thing we have to go off of is previous maps, and I want to say that neither of these teams really have taken that dive, at least not during playoffs, so not recently. And so that's interesting that Berserkers would pick into it, right? So taking a look into their group stage match as well, I'm not seeing much, Keg.
Maybe
So
they
again, are we
watched-
flying dark?
You know what? I'm always flying dark. Every time I drive, no, I'm just kidding. But like overall, I think maybe just teams were looking at VCT and like,
Okay.
Vice, Tejo, all the new characters. Yeah, we can rock this. I think this will
course.
be pretty touch and go for both teams.
Well, yeah. I think this is the debut for both of these teams on this map, and I think that's the best thing you can ask for, right? Because then you don't know their comps, you aren't gonna overthink the playstyle too much, hopefully, going into this match. But even then, single elim can be rough. And I mean, at this point, right? Like they've been going at these matches for like it's got to be like probably I'm gonna say 10 hours, but I gotta double check myself. Like it's been a long day.
Whew, okay.
Mhm.
10 hours is a lot. But you know
I think
what?
they start at 3 p.m. Yeah.
If you enjoy Valorant, like it makes sense, right? You're playing what you love and you're potentially getting paid for it. And all I'm saying, I'm just putting it out there. It's more time in those 10 hours to check out Radiant.store to get some amazing merch to make sure more of these tournaments happen. I think it's a win-win
Okay.
for everybody.
Okay, yeah. I definitely have I've seen like some tweets of like people getting their merch and they've been like super happy. The cat is super cute. I know like that's like probably one of my most used emotes on Discord is just a little mascot cat. And it's just really, really nice merch. Please go check it out to support initiatives like Radiant Academy. It helps make it possible. But yeah, I think I finally did all of my little fact checking. And number one, I you know how we were like talking about how we thought Evil Oppie was Radiant? Immortal 3 peak. I'm devastated.
Ah,
They'll
what's the
make it. I
difference?
trust, right? They'll unlock their final form, right? No, that's their origin story. Their villain origin story is that they have not reached Radiant.
They were Immortal 3, 99 RR. They lost that one
Cheater
game.
detected. No.
One down to Ascendant 1, and it's their crash out Evil Oppie arc.
Yep. And now that's why they have resurfaced to take on Radiant Academy here. And again, I talked about it, these squads have both been new debuts, right? Like Tanax GC, I think a few of them were with them before, but it might have been a little bit of a restructure. But for Berserkers, right? They need a win today, right? Their team just lost their first VCL match of close qualifiers.
Yep.
Maybe their GC team can pick up the dub, carry the torch forward instead of falling sooner. And I mean, they're set up for it quite well. So let's go to Agent Select and finally answer all these question marks. Will we see craziness? Will we see Tejo? Drumroll, please, Keg.
All right, yep, a Tejo almost immediately at least hovered.
Oppie, no way.
Oh,
Okay.
Oppie, May, 2 Tejos. I mean, sure, why not? I really want a Valorant tournament where it's just like there's no lock on agents.
You want a replication tournament?
No, I don't want a replication tournament. Like, you shouldn't have all 5, but people could
Oh,
come
like
up
a
with,
few.
Yeah, like people could come up with strats, be like, okay, we could bring in 2 Tejos, a Jet, an Omen, and a Cypher, let's say, and like that could be like a legit comp.
I would want 2 killjoys, even with the Taeho nerf. Nerfing her. It's like, cover all the sides. Oh. I mean,
No,
hey,
like
that's what they're kind of going for. Look,
KJ strat would be kind of
what do you think of a 1 jet 4 Taeho strat?
Oh, good lord.
I mean, your jet's just entering, right, dashing in, and they like leave one spot, one circle where there's not any guided salvos, and like they know where that is, and the rest is just a bomb site full of missiles.
Poor observer's PC would actually explode.
Well, we're starting to center on the potential actual compositions, and I think I could see Razora realistically being the Taeho in this situation, and then Oppie being like a Raze or a Jet, but also the double duelist would be spicy here. Razora has played duelist, right? They're definitely a support player, so they are looking like they're leaning into this alternative. Let's see how it goes with Oppie turning into an initiator player.
I mean, look, initiator, yes, you're still creating a lot of space and getting rid of very powerful, just defensive holds, and you're still playing pretty aggressive as Taeho. It's almost like a duelist. It's like a duelist, like how KO's an initiator, you know?
That is true. That is true.
Pretty good taking duels, you know.
I think this one's definitely in a league all on his own. Like, just the best
tier?
of like Taeho tier. A+. I don't want to put them in an S tier just yet because I feel like they low key might get a little bit of nerf action going in some way, shape, or form. But aside from that, I'm interested to see how Oppie's gonna play it because it does require, I think, to a certain degree to be that support. Like, right, you're setting up, in this case, Razora by letting those corners get cleared, so they don't have to check them upon their entry here. I think A site is low-key gonna be one of the best ones for it, just because again, drop a guided salvo in that one corner below hell, drop one in elbow, and suddenly they can't swing you from pivotal points if you have smoke screens, and you're good to go.
I mean, this is just gonna be a not fun experience for the defense. You have the Raze in your face, the Taeho util in your face, the Breach util in your face. Everything is in your face. Ira's a deadlock. A single Senti. Not a lot of info gathering with no initiation outside of the Fade in this matchup. This is brutal for Berserker's Dawn.
They did a good job though, weathering the storm, right? The net, the deadlock wall, both in conjunction, right? One for heaven, one for main, and it worked out. But now that that utility has suffered, that pressure's been relinquished, they have to concede heaven space and hold elsewhere. They hold from sight, that player's drop. They hold from CT, that player's drop. It's all on the lover, and they are able to take one down with them, but the dust settles and it's still numbers for Tenax. Dez finds their way, worms their way back into heaven, but I mean, they hear the shield, they know. Now they hear, hopefully, because the trap wire has been broken, they know both these players are going to be ramps or main. So they know how to play around this, even with Razora low HP here. They have utility still to work around this. The paranoia this late in the round for May is huge.
One enemy remaining.
I mean, this is just such a not great team comp to go up against 10x GC, and we'll talk about that in a second. Maddie, a position right now, they're almost clear. Oh boy. I mean, we ventured down that road on Haven, but for Berserkers, right? We talked about how crazy powerful 10x's comp is going to be for this attacking side. Berserkers on this defense, they have to re-clear everything before they can even consider getting close to the spike to retake it.
And I mean, just look, yeah, because like there's so much post-plant utility, right? Aftershock, Raze, nade, the guided salvos. And I mean, the fact that they were that aggressive as well, that confident, they didn't have to use any of that. But aside from that, interesting, they don't see anything here. Ira, again, kind of in a hot seat, right? They survived it using their util last time. Now they only have that signature ability of the barrier mesh, so not much to work with in that regard, but I'm gonna waltz past. They get Beheaven for free. It feels like we're just getting set up for a pinch play. Oh, okay, main.
Yes, Maddie falls. And again, now these defenders, they have to re-clear everything. There's a guided tour outside mid, looking to see if anyone's gonna late push up. The answer's no, but it wastes time. And 10x, that is a gift given to them. Bjorn's up top rafters. A flash is out, good for one. The double tap does nothing. Bjorn, a power position still can wait. What do you do
The
here?
timing?
Big weapon differential. Yes, a 3v3. Bjorn does fall. Time is still being wasted away. Lover, the only info gathering has been wasted out of this round. And it's all but over from here. 10X have 2 on the board. A wall locks off Ave, but can still see the spike.
One enemy remaining.
They're gonna lose their guns though, because Resort can't get off sight. So honestly, if your Berserker's Dawn, right, you don't win that round, but you surely did damage. And look, ooh, I thought Arthur was gonna recover the Spectre, but dying to the spike is better. Gonna get that full force of a buy through now. Not heavy weaponry carried over for Tenax GC, so low chance to convert this next round. Best you could have hoped for in that case scenario. Regardless, though, question now starts to surface. Okay. How do we play around this Tahoe? How do we play around this really strong exec from Tenax GC? Because you're gonna have to respect it no matter what in my mind when there's a Tahoe and there's a breach and there's a raise.
I'm struggling to think of a good solution for Berserkers, I'm not gonna lie. I honestly think you either just hold back and retake everything, or you just fight close. This is
Ooh,
mine.
there it is.
This is mine from the first series today. A great start, don't get me wrong. Rizora falls. That's gonna buy a lot of time against Tenax, who now have to group up and not take different lanes for site control.
Talk about it. Taking that fight early. Lover does that. And now Arthur's joining them in this brigade. And Lover's just anchoring this site solo. Arthur trying to finish things off. This Phantom shot's not connecting, but the crunch out of ramps it does. And that was really good. It was kind of like staggered aggression. So it was really hard to read on the side of Tenax GC, right? One player falls, the next falls. We also saw the impact of taking out kind of, I would say, right? Like a heavy player like that Raze who can't satchel and can't scale up off the breach, off of the Tahoe missiles. And that might be an early indicator of kind of the win con for this composition, right? Like yes, you think you can play this comp without a dive agent, but you need your Raze to punish off of that utility usage. And it's like amplification, right? So losing that factor, it was harder to scale up, and they kind of got pinched in main, stuck in main, and the players filtered back in.
Tahoe Util outside of mid clears a lot of distance. Still no information about beyond the smoke into the middle area. But look at this. That's such a good start to things. A great trade. Rizora stays alive, and as you pointed out, Rizora might be the key to Tenax's success and failures. If this space cannot be created, Berserkers can collapse upon this attacking team.
They're about to do it again. I thought they were at least. I really thought Maddie was going to go for the swing out once they relinquished that pressure.
Arthur.
And yeah, even now, they still might have a little late pinch on B site. Look, I mean, the Deadlock utility active. This is a good pinch setup. Oh, they're going to overstep. No. Okay, baby.
Spike down. Now this Yoru can't just go across the entirety of attacker spawn, hold down for the spike, and it's a re-clear of a different orientation. Tenax, they're playing as the defenders would, and suddenly no one's watching the
30
spike.
seconds left.
There's
But
no
look
fight
at
out
the
of heaven.
positioning though, Zobi. To heaven. Not found out by 10X just yet. Contingency's
Spike
gonna reveal
planted.
at least one. Maddie has a smoke. Arthur's forced to use dimensional drift, which frankly, really they shouldn't
Stick.
have. If they just watch Spike.
One enemy remaining.
Solid diffuse.
I mean, it's not planted for these players. They tried to get out CT. They tried to rob them of that information. At this point, Bjorn trying to just survive the stun, paves the way for the exit. We're tied 2 apiece here. After what we saw on Haven, no question that this was going to be a close affair, but feels like Berserker's Dawn, right? Like, that round in particular, like, they just kind of had the calling card there from the trade over towards A main. Again, maybe kind of replicating that Haven success where they're like, okay, if we master one side of the map, the second half becomes that much easier. And it did.
Let's see now. It is just topsy-turvy any which way you look. You like the early info gathering gathered by Oppie. Does force away Maddie's positioning very early on. And like clockwork, it promotes a rotate from these from ISO into across ropes. But this is a split push now from 10X, and this could cause a lot of confusion for Berserkers Dawn. Oh, I saw the vision, May. I still see the
Ooh.
vision. A
Pretty
Prowler
alive.
gone. The Fade's been discovered, though. That means there's not as much info gathering from the left side of the map. more contact plays need to be gathered.
Wait. I like this. Push out vents, pinch the players. Delay if you're Dez. May has to fall here too, and that's the precondition. There it is. Now they fight ramps. Now you have them further pinched, right? If you just fight into heaven in the proper timing before they cut off half of your party. And here it comes, the collapsing where they spot one. Do they know where the second is? Do they know both players are here? It doesn't matter if they don't know that Maddie's there. The spray connects, and Maddie has been having insane rounds from the double kills over towards B main. To complete that round, to that close out as well onto ramps. Berserker's Dawn claim the lead.
These rounds have been so fast. It's worked out well. For Berserkers, they've won the last 3 since they've gained rifles. Tenax do have a lot of ults here. And I'm fully expecting this to be a B push with Taeho ult to help supplement at least maybe top heaven control, back B side near alleyway. There's a lot of places that can be ISO'd out from a breach and Taeho respectively. And you combine the two together, oof. Good luck, defenders.
Alright, stability. So you can stack this heaven, so you can hold down that mid. Which has been a heavy pressure point, right, for the side of Tenax GC. This time, though, it's a pretty heavy focus on a standard B exec, right? You have your Cypher lurk over towards A. You're just gonna try and explode out onto the site, probably off the Taeho ult, would be my guess. Missiles to fully clear out backside. All that pressure, all that utility, stalled by a singular net and an annihilation. Like, that is such a worthy trade.
That's such good timing. The dedication of the Taeho ult means continuing in
Spike
the
down.
sacrifice of Bjorn. Spike is lost. That might be that's the round right there. Oh, never mind. From the shadows saved the spike, but it's still a map reset for Tenax.
Not even just a map reset, but I need to point this out. Paranoia, Aftershock, a guided salvos, Armageddon, probably smokes. All of this. And look, even the stealth drone. Oppie has no utility other than missiles recharging. That went into that and faltered. Now I mean, they just have to set up the retrades. Ira on for an ace. At this point, they deserve it. Oh. Robbed away. This round's not over just yet. They have to pull out an additional ult. Ooh, I mean, it gets dropped, but still.
Last player standing.
Ooh, no way. How do they still win? How?
That is a comedy of errors from Berserker's Dawn. There's no way. That was an unlosable round. The high-low setup to take the 1v2. The fact that the kill contract had come by, 20 seconds left Abe, the sole remaining player on B side for Tenax, to stay alive, take a fight, win it, and to have the ISO ulted player win the fight too is unbelievable. That might be a miracle for Tenax. I'm not gonna lie, Zobi.
And I don't want to pin anything on Ira. Like, they're the one that got 3 kills that round, but also just like probably wanting the finisher, right? Like, not tucking back into heaven there. I mean, that's the confidence of a round that, like, okay, you should have lost, you won it. That Tenax is going to carry forward in their plays. Like, explosive take onto the A side. Razora finding kills left, right, center. At least there's a quick rotate and a refrag here from Des Ramps. This might be what they need. Razora, you know they were elbowed. Not clear on the corner! I can't. Wait, Rolling Thunder online here. It's not over yet with the plant down. Once they know these players are out main, they just ult it, right? Here it comes. Oh, that's an aftershock. Now the ult. Now it feels like it's kind of a clutch factor. Was the second player caught? Can't quite tell. Don't think so. Ira in elbow. The swing. The shots connect this time. It's not a 3K, but it's the clutch that this squad needs to, again, stick it out and stay in the lead.
I mean, it was certainly not pretty, but Berserker's Dawn recovering from a disastrous last B-side round into an A defuse is really good. Still maintaining the lead. At this point, one of the teams, I honestly couldn't tell you which one has to take a timeout. Evil Oppie, definitely feeling the growing pains, moving away from Jet into the new released Taeho. 1 in 7.
Yeah.
Oof.
We said that we didn't know what to expect out of these two teams coming into split, right? And it definitely feels like the case where picked the wrong comp maybe with the Pug squad, and now the roles aren't meshing. Versus Berserker's Dawn, it's kind of like paralleling what they ran over on Haven, right? Other than Ira in a little bit more aggressive of a position, but with the frags we saw to close out Haven, it makes sense here for this squad. Let's see though, Arthur, beautiful position, but a flashpoint, and that's a gun down, a gun that can get collected.
Rockets are out now. Dez forced to move away. Maddie down below on ropes, waiting for the dissension, maybe down in the B, or just holding for ropes position. That's one.
Whoa!
Spike down mid.
Two. And guess what? Nothing on B has been discovered. The deadlock has sonic sensors everywhere for stall. I can use this to reposition.
I don't know, you could shoot it after it triggered.
Back over though. Oppie's good for one. Creates enough space. We talk about the re-clear. It's the Nightfall.
I mean, that's a win in itself, right? Getting the Nightfall out on a thrifty round, and you're not done just yet, Oppie. Bucky up close. Yep. That's the Odin down, and Oppie is likely for the taking. And they seem to have the perfect read as well. The last is Vents. Double kill with the Bucky. Triple overall. Weapon collected. Thrifty in the books. 4-4 to next strike back. Whew.
Oppie heard what I said about the 1 in 7.
Yep, SMHK, how could you?
I'm sorry. You know, I've just been caster cursing both these teams nonstop this series. I am the problem. I'll admit it. But you know what, Zobi? I like being the problem.
Okay. Come on, you're the teacher, like.
Yeah, apparently. That's what they tell me.
All right.
I don't know if I believe them.
Berserker's Dawn now. Stinger Force. Kind of a half buy to make sure they can buy in the next round. Some ults to back it up. Maddie at least has a heavier weapon, but now, I mean, bro, that is like your nightmares, right? You're stunned, double guided salvo. The net connects, but Ira can't frag off of it. Ooh, the trades left and right. Little delay on the going, but it's fine. They did their job. They smoked CT. So with your deadlock gone, all these sensors are just left in the graveyard. And I mean, fortunately, it's only one player down, but without weapons, with a Armageddon online, it is going to come down to Arthur in this flank. So they can't even dimensional drift at this point, right? They need to frag. They need the tip of the spear. Bjorn misses it on the jump peek? No, that's not the time you want to whip at. It's more like you're saying your team will handle that. What do you mean? You dip when you're 5 HP to give them info and say, try to win. There's one pillar, there's one default. You can do it. I'm back with my clone and my flash to help you guys. And they do. Their team gets the job done, Arthur. Swinging off the blind. Wow.
I'm speechless, Zoe. I'm...
Another thrifty. 50 for thrifty.
I mean, I was ready to sing the praises of Tanax. Like, these are the rounds how I was expecting this attack to go. You set up a goal about where you want that spike to end up. You allow Oppie's utility with Tejo to just smother any defensive position a player could hold and make sure they can't escape, they can't hold those positions, just barrel rush your way into a site. You have the perfect comp to do that. And 10x did that! But the post plant, Berserker's Dawn.
It really came down to, I think, the first thing that went wrong, right, was Bjorn on the jump peak not spotting Arthur, right? They get the opening kill, that's your delay agent, that's your breach gone, right?
That was wild.
Yeah, and even though they wait on the second, right, they say, okay, this thoughts to the dimensional drift. And we were so focused on that, we didn't see the impact of Heaven, but speaking of impact in Heaven, little trade schedule there. Back to a 4-on-4, and look at these, I was gonna say Pivotal ults online, but they vacated Mail. So that's gonna find nothing. That's gonna find nothing. You're re-clearing Heaven when nobody's there. They fully committed to the A rotate, the A pivot. Gate crash expended. You're gonna hear the missiles, the guided salvos at least if you're this fade to inform the rotate. And this is where we're gonna again be asked to hear or see, I should say, the Berserkers retake.
Yeah.